Welcome and thank you everybody for joining us on another trip to Nintendoland. And what's that? It's the fucking E3 hype train.
Choo choo!
Choo-choo. That's right. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Burgess. I'm the video producer for RationalPassions.com, and I'm the host of this podcast we do about everything Nintendo. We do it once a month here on Irrational Passions, and I'm joined, as always, by the Guigi to my Luigi, Alex O'Neill.
True.
Facts.
Right. Real hard facts right there.
Right.
Hell yeah. All
We're
aboard
here.
the E3 train.
That's right. We're on the cusp of Nintendo and just the E3 mess, the video game summer mess. Jeff Keighley's going to be there. Some other bullshit's going to be there. Just all
More
kinds
people will
of
be there with a
stuff.
mop just cleaning up this mess.
Yeah, and no one really. It feels like no one really knows anything. No one, because it's just all over the place. And in one way that's exciting, and one way that's like it's gonna be like such a ridiculous
Yeah,
thing.
it's going to be hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to keep up with. It's definitely gonna be one of those things where I'm looking forward to I'm more looking forward to like either like the after shows later in the day on those days, or like the week after shows that a lot of people do, because that'll be a better probably a collection of things, I would hope, or at least I hope.
Yeah.
I hope there's gonna be some folks who do that. Maybe we'll do it, because we're all gonna be covering that stuff too to some extent, or at least we're gonna try. We're obviously
We're going to cover as much of it as we can.
we're a small site, and we all have our own things going on outside of here. So, but we're gonna try and watch some of those. We're definitely gonna tune into Nintendo stuff for sure. I definitely know we're gonna be live reacting to that stuff. The direct, and we're also gonna be we're probably worth doing a show later in the day, because I think they're doing we'll just get into it. News. We have a couple of news items, and the big one is, Nintendo's doing an E3 2021 Direct, and we were fortunate enough they finally put out the info on it the day before, after we were recording this.
Yeah.
So let me just read their tweet at verbatim here. Nintendo E3 2021, June 15th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Tune in for Nintendo Direct with roughly 40 minutes of info focused exclusively on Nintendo Switch software, mostly releasing in 2021, followed by around 3 hours of gameplay and Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3 2021. So yeah.
Isn't it wild to think that we didn't have this last year?
Yeah, it's wild to just think there wasn't just any E3. There's just nothing.
Yeah, there was nothing. I mean, we got things happened in June.
Yeah,
it was there was no Nintendo E3 Direct.
Yeah, there was no focus. There was they had a mini there was a mini Direct in the summer, but I don't even think it was in June. I don't even remember.
It was around the time, but you think about 2019, that Nintendo E3 Direct was such a slam dunk, I think, for a lot of people. And it's been 2 years. Just to let that sink in is kind of crazy.
Yeah, just think 2019 would have been they showed, that's when they showed Dragon Quest 2. Breath of the Wild 2 was revealed. They showed
Banjo was in there.
Banjo, Luigi's Mansion 3 was a big show off there, because that was out that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they've had smaller things in between that. I think No More Heroes 3 was shown at the first time too.
It might have been that big cinematic trailer came out around that time.
Yeah, when it showed him on first it shows a mech suit fighting dudes in the sky, and then Travis comes out of the suit, and it's ridiculous. I remember that trailer. It might have been that E3 or around that, but yeah, it's pretty wild, and I feel. I honestly don't know how I fully feel about going into this show. I think they have stuff to show. It's just is that stuff going to be imminent, or is it going to be this year it is, and see you next year?
Yeah,
that's a lot. And I guess it's not even just Nintendo, but it's also, I would say, pretty much my whole feeling of this E3 in general. But especially Nintendo, just because they've also been so quiet during this whole time, and like that's like fair because like they've been, it's a whole pandemic happened, and like I think Japan like was definitely got hit in a different way than the US did, and are like in some ways still going through it, because I want to say like not that only like a few weeks ago they like went into like another
Yeah,
like kind of
quarantine-esque
yeah,
thing.
like state of emergency, like I don't know if it was just Tokyo, but I think it was just like a bunch of Japan in general, and they had to like shut down a bunch of stuff again. So I don't
Yeah.
really like it's hard to say, even more so than normal, because like you always don't hear a lot out of Nintendo Japan, like what's going on there. So like I'm super curious on that front to just like see updates on games, like
Yeah.
we're
I mean, presumably this is the first time we're really going to see Breath of the Wild sequel. I mean, we're going to have a name for it,
yeah,
at the very
yeah, for
least.
sure.
So
I would expect that at least too. Yeah.
that's a lot, and where there's plenty of rumor stuff and bets that we'll be making, but it is a weird feeling because like especially this last week and a half, it's just been like overflow of like all this stuff falling out of
Yeah. Will they?
pockets
Won't
about the
they?
Switch Pro,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
there's so much now. It's like, well, clearly this thing is real, and if we have to expect that it's going to be announced before E3 and then they focus that on E3, it could be a really really big show.
Yeah.
Which is exciting, but we're in that weird pre-period where it's like, all right, let's just
Yeah.
temper our expectations,
We
keep it in check.
don't know for sure yet. Like it's yeah, and that makes it like one of the most exciting. Like Nintendo is always very exciting for their showcase around this time of the year. That's always like one of my highlights is like seeing the direct, and then it goes into like a bunch of cool treehouse segments of like them playing the games and doing like really like interesting demos, and like talking to the like Sakurai or Anuma, and like being able to actually like hear from them
Or
more directly.
Koizumi is always really good in those
Yeah,
treehouse
that
streams.
too.
So
Yeah, it's like I'm excited for them to, like we're getting some semblance of that in like a week, which is like
yeah,
that's really
that's
cool.
always good vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, like we got like some treehouse thing last year,
It
but
was like yeah,
nothing.
it was showing like Pinkman. They did like a Pinkman 3 segment and like something else, and
Yeah,
it was like in like August, like by itself. It was very, yeah, I remember
so
that.
weird.
It was
I'm
very
thinking about it
bizarre.
now. Yeah, so like to get back to that and get Bill Trinan on the couch.
Yeah,
It'll be good vibes.
yeah. Really looking forward to it. Yeah. Again, we're kind of in that pre period, so we don't know everything. And I think we'll get deeper into speculation because, like you briefly mentioned, this is our pre E3 betting special. We got some bets. Let me lay. I'll just lay it down here because I have it in our doc here.
Hmm.
Let me just pull that up and then get into it. So here's what we've done and what you can prepare for. This will be towards the end of the show because we do have a couple more news items, and like we'll also talk some games a little bit too. Like new Pokemon Snap came out since the last time we did an episode, and I played a lot of that. But yeah, so betting special. Me and Alex we're gonna have 5 bets for each other. So I have 5 bets for Alex, 5 bets for me, and then we also have wild card bets from our good friend Nabashin, Brian Nabashin Jackson. He has made
Yes.
some bets for us as well. So basically, each of our bets are going to be worth some points to each other. But specifically, Nabashin's bets, they're worth more points. But if either of us do not get any bets of his correct, they can that will negate a correct bet from one of us. So basically,
Hmm.
if I get one of your bets correct, but don't get any of Nabashin's bets correct, it can be negated. We
Got
lose
it.
points. So whoever comes out on top between me and Alex will be declared for this year, for the rest of this year until another E3 comes, or whenever we want to do another Nintendo style betting special.
Hmm.
They'll be named the King of Nintendoland, and I will figure out how to post a title here on here that'll be for whatever the next episode, and also the winner will give a stipulation or something the loser has to then do, and it could be anything like video game related, like make them play something awful or do a weird stream or do something that will be here on the site. So we'll get into that towards the end, later in the episode, and I'm really looking forward to it because we have some fun bets, and we're gonna talk more about some of the other stuff that's going in the direct.
Very
looking
excited.
forward to it.
Don't worry, y'all. If you're a fan of Rational Passions podcast, Nobson delivered.
Yes,
he always does.
I'm very excited to hear his insane bets. I
remember the first one and the last one because obviously that's how memory works, and they're both very good.
That's awesome. We were gonna try and get him on, but he just timing.
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend just happened, so he got slammed at work. So
but we will take his bets and
he's here in spirit.
Yeah, he's here in spirit, and as always, thank you for making wonderful bets for us. So let's jump to these. I have two other little news items. They're pretty quick and easy. They're just like another set of dates we got for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Pokemon Legends Arceus. So the Diamond and Pearl remakes are November 19th, which is pretty in line with pretty much always Pokemon games come out in November, so that's pretty standard. And then we have Legends Arceus for January 28th, which is interesting. I thought that was kind of interesting. That feels maybe like they had to shift around those dates for maybe COVID, or maybe other things got shifted around, like maybe a certain pro version of a video game console that maybe is what it is.
Maybe we will know about soon. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? So
people watching this may already know about it. Literally, we have no idea.
that actually would be very funny if we because this will probably go up early the following week.
Yeah.
So like the one day that's left in the week for them to announce it, that'd be very funny.
It's very
you announce it in that one day.
That's the time that we are alive in. Mike and I are living in right now, so people understand.
Yeah, that would be very entertaining and sometimes and partially on brand for how sometimes this podcast goes.
Yeah. Now, this whole thing really kind of caught me as weird. Did it catch you as weird as well, Mike? Because I feel like this is the kind of thing that we would get like a Pokemon Direct for. Right. I know it's just 2 games, but and technically we kind of already had that. But I think back to Sword and Shield, and I mean, like they just talked about that game by itself before E3, right?
Yeah, that was like its own standalone reveal.
And that was a big deal, right? First Switch Pokemon games, and it's kind of like the next gen, and they were changing a lot of mechanics and how everything looked. But I would put Arceus in like that kind of same camp, and to just kind of announce the release date felt so weird. Which makes me think either like this is going to be a portion of their E3 show, or that they're going to just talk about this later.
Legends Arceus has like prime, like this is going to be one of those games in that 3-hour block of Treehouse demos to just like show off a part of that game. Like they always kind of like have always kind of showed Pokemon games in that period, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's just like some 30-minute block that's like here's some of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and a little bit of Legends Arceus gameplay of like so you can actually kind of see it. Like they usually always they did that for Sword and Shield when that was shown. Like that was like a big Treehouse section. I think they did a few of those, but that's when they were doing it like over multiple days. So I definitely see that, and yeah, like you were saying, like I think just like throwing the dates out there was a little weird because they usually do like it like partnered with a direct. But I think that was also just because the current state of all games and everything was stilted. So I think they maybe just put a direct together to announce stuff and then said like, we'll put the dates out later because people will like ultimately they're gonna buy this video game. Because Pokemon. So I think they just like settled for that because that was like the easiest route for them, or maybe like they have other stuff. Nintendo has other stuff to more directly show at E3, so they just got Pokemon out of the way because it's own thing, and people will show up for it regardless if it's at E3 or somewhere else. But yeah, I'm looking forward to both those games. I'll be the weirdo who buys both Diamond and Pearl remakes on Switch day one because I'm that weirdo. And like Legends Arceus, I'm still like tentatively excited about because I think like it's that initial showing was like cool, but like kind of still worrying of like I don't know, it was early, but I don't know how early, and like hopefully like with the potential of new better hardware, maybe a game like that could maybe run and perform a little better, even if going off of that gameplay they showed
Yeah,
is
I
kind
mean,
of
like
where I'm sitting at right now. But
literally all we know about that game is you can throw Pokeballs in it
yeah,
right now.
that
So
yeah, there was like a they did put like when these dates got announced. I didn't grab the link, but they did put up like a official website with a couple more things on it, but like not like any new like footage or gameplay or anything like that. But it had like little extra tidbits. The one I did see was like you said, you can throw a Pokeball to like catch a Pokemon, but you can also throw like a Pokeball you have with a Pokemon in it to like initiate a battle too, which sounded kind of cool. Of
that's cool.
you can like kind of initiate a battle yourself or like stay out of battle. As they showed like in the trailer, it looks like it's a little bit more of a real time kind of you're fighting in the space you're in with a Pokemon rather than it going into its separate battlefield. Yeah, yeah. Again, I'm tentatively excited for that thing. I feel like this ultimately still will just kind of be like more like a test for them to like feel out like, all right, let's just make this thing because people will not leave us alone until we make it. Um, but
Yeah,
also they're always going to keep and they're also going to keep continuing to build these insane expectations for this thing that we're not prepared to meet because we're Game Freak and we've made handheld games for the last multiple decades. So I think like them just like doing this in like there is some fanfare behind it, but they're not like I don't think they're all from my perspective like they're not treating it as this massive thing. It's once again more of like this fan thing of like, oh my god, they're doing the thing, when it's like
yeah.
we don't know if it's actually gonna fully be that thing yet, and they'll continue to iterate like they do with every Pokemon game and maybe get there later down the road.
Yeah, ultimately, and we talked about it when we had AJ on. I think was when
Mm-hmm.
we talked about the announcement. But it like I'm really excited for Game Freak to be making a Pokemon game that isn't a Pokemon game. You know what I mean? Like it has them on it. Obviously, I'm sure there's many Game Freak teams, and there's certainly another Game Freak team already working on the next generation of Pokemon, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, they're working on it, so and they know Pokemon best, as far as I know, and they are trying something different. So like that
Yeah.
that enough has me excited. It is very much like, and it seems like they themselves are trying to do this is like reel in the expectations of like, hey, we are trying something cool here, but this is our first time doing it, so
Yeah.
like just
And
let's just
and we
keep
yeah.
that in mind.
Yeah, totally. And we also still have the thing that our longtime fans know us for with these Diamond and Pearl remakes. Like
Yeah,
I feel like that's like a good approach for them is like the like kind of have your cake and eat it too approach of like let's try and make this new thing that people really want because now we're on the hardware that's capable of doing it. But also let's try and but also let's give the thing people want because there's still plenty of fans of that traditional Pokemon RPG and like all the more in depth like systems that like people get into with like training your Pokemon and like breeding and all that stuff. And then there's also and also like there is a business side to very much a business side to Pokemon, and like all of that stuff is still tied in that kind of more
yeah,
traditional gameplay. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I think another just like surprising thing is Sword and Shield came out in November 2019, right?
mm,
So this is January 2022. That's not that long still.
right,
So that is also leading me to like reel in expectations a little bit of like this isn't going to be some massive world probably. It's
yeah,
probably like a region that is fun to walk around and explore. But
yeah,
like size
totally,
wise, this is probably going to be a little bit smaller,
yeah,
which is fine. It's just like keep these things in mind when we think about this game. But
right,
I am interested in a Pokemon game by Game Freak that isn't a traditional Pokemon game.
yeah.
So
That's like trying new things.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm totally forward to. I'm really looking forward to both those games. I'm definitely gonna pick both those up later this year.
it seemed sooner than I thought it would be. I'll be honest. So
Yeah, Like
I kind of thought people thought that might be a next fall game, you know?
I definitely felt that too. Like I definitely felt like that would have been. I definitely felt pretty strongly about the Gen 4 remakes probably being November this year, and then
Yeah, for sure.
Arceus was probably going to be maybe at the earliest summer 2022. But seeing January, that was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
feels realer. It's more exciting, I think.
Feels realer, and also it does like you said, it sets that expectation of like, okay, yeah, this feels more like they're iterating, but also like not like it's not like a massive leap.
Yeah.
And I feel like having played the DLC that came out post launch in Sword and Shield that were more focused on those more open areas you could explore, feels like I'm in that headspace to like comfortably be like, okay, I'm in for this, but it's probably not going to be Breath of the Wild Pokemon, which everyone is calling it.
Yes, it's not going to be that.
It's not going to be that, but yeah, looking forward.
We didn't see a paraglider, so yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Well, I feel like we might see a little bit more of that at the E3, probably in the treehouse if we do. Like they said, they're doing like a 3-hour treehouse block after the direct on the 15th. So I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of those games does not make it in there, because of course, like those are their big one's a very big holiday release for them, and then the other one's very much similar, like not that far off in terms of like a holiday release. But yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I want to see more of that, as sure. And once we get closer, I'm sure we'll see it. Another quick thing I got, which is I think it was a pretty cool announcement, and I feel like it won't be just a Nintendo Switch exclusive game, but considering it's based off of the Octopath Traveler, it is very much going to be probably on Nintendo Switch. And that's they did like it was a couple days before this, they did a 35th anniversary like Dragon Quest presentation, and they showed off a bunch of games. I think the two biggest ones was there's going to be Dragon Quest 12, of course. That was just kind of like a logo reveal
for grown-ups only, though.
Yes, yeah. What was it called? It's like Flames of Ruin or something like that.
Yeah, Flames of Retribution, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And they were saying like it's for like the adult fans, and you're
geared towards
adults, and you're making more like choices and stuff. And like in fairness, like there has been some.
That does sound cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool, and like
I just thought it was so funny that so many people were like, "Yeah, only for grown-ups."
Yeah, only for grown-ups. Yeah. In fairness, like there are some like darker themes and stuff that can be in Dragon Quest games, like a lot of those games, like spoilers for I guess 11, but like halfway through that game, like the fucking apocalypse happens, and like
it gets
the world's set into ruin. So like that's not that surprising to me in some respects. I'm going like, yeah, we'll make it a little darker. But the one thing that actually like was more exciting to me personally was they're remaking Dragon Quest 3 in the Octopath or HD 2D, everyone's favorite video game term now, engine. And man, it looks amazing. Like
looks great.
Yeah, like I love the visuals, and of course it has like the orchestrated Dragon Quest music, and like Dragon Quest 3, like I've not played a lot of Dragon Quest games. I just played 11. And like I don't necessarily want to go back and play those older games because they are way more traditional JRPGs, and I just don't know. I just don't really feel like I have the effort in me
stamina to get through those
some of those games. So seeing them like remake that game in a like more modern context is cool. Like I want the context of that, because 3 was so prolific and was like kind of that Dragon Quest game that like set it on the map and made it this massive franchise.
It's the one with Erdrick, right?
He's yes, it's like Erdrick and like some other stuff, and like it is like kind of the thing that is like set off Dragon Quest in a way that like it so I'm really stoked for that. Like they didn't give a date for it. I think I might have just said it was next year. And like it didn't even necessarily say it was just on Nintendo Switch either. Like it didn't really have it. It was kind of vague on the stuff, but I figured it's Octopath Traveler engine, and that's where this whole engine got started. So, and Project Triangle Strategy is also a game using that engine, and is going to come out on Switch like later this year or next year. So I think we'll probably see this game also on Switch, and that's very exciting.
I mean, like, how many times have they like had the thing where like people really wanted them to do something like this, and then they did it.
And they're just like, okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, no, it's like, hey, that's a great idea. Like people really wanted a lot of folks like Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6. Like one of those get this kind of treatment, which now feels like very reasonable.
Yeah,
to
expect
happen.
that. Yeah.
And like, outside of the 3DS ports, like we don't really see a lot of Dragon Quest ports or remakes, right? Like Nintendo's been doing a good job about getting those original games on Switch, just because they were NES games. But I think this is just so cool in a similar way. Like I don't know if I'll play this. I'm just not a huge turn-based RPG person, but it looks great. It seems like for this as a remake, they're kind of reeling in some of the depth of field stuff that people kind of take a little bit of umbrage with when it comes to Octopath. So it's a little bit more easy to look at, I think, for folks that are a little bit more conflicted about the engine. But I love this look. I love just the really nice, crunchy, high definition sprites in a 3D sprite environment. Yeah, it's great. Plus, like you said, the fully redone score and soundtrack to this is going to be a gift in of itself. So yeah, this is cool.
Really good.
If we get like, I feel like Final Fantasy IV is like the game to do with this. If you would do a 6, I think that maybe deserves a little bit bigger treatment just because so many people love that game. But this makes me hopeful that maybe they'll do like a 4 remake in this style. I'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be super. Yeah, that'd be super cool. And yeah, I'd be totally fine if like if this game does really well, it just opens the floodgates for them to just be like, yep, we'll make a bunch of old Final Fantasies like this. We'll make it. I've even people see bounce around Chrono Trigger in a style like this. That'd be super cool. Yeah, I'd be into that too. Cool. I'm sure there's other ones. I'm sure there's other ones I'm forgetting. They've like the problem is I would say like something like Secret of Mana, but they've like already like
they've remade that already.
So yeah. Even though like I'd probably prefer it in this style.
Yeah.
But
I'd be curious what an action game in this kind of HD2D style would look like too.
Yeah.
Even if Secret of Mana is like a pretty slow paced action game.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, also like full voice acting. Like we don't know yet, but that would be cool for Dragon Quest 3.
Yeah, that's
Octopath
for sure.
Did have voice acting.
Yeah, Octopath had voice acting for sure. That'd be an interesting if they went that route with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's exciting. This is a cool thing. It's like Dragon Quest 3 feels like a nice deep cut for this.
Yeah. And it's like it was a part of like their anniversary announcements, so like it made a lot of sense. And like, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
you have this for like a whole new crowd of people because it's 35th anniversary of Dragon Quest also this year.
Yeah, Zelda and Dragon Quest.
Yeah, a lot of games celebrating anniversaries this year was kind of surprising.
Yeah, wait, Mega Man's probably 35 this year too. I imagine Metroid. All those NES games, are hitting that. Castlevania, I don't know where that's at. It's probably close as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's pretty close too.
It's crazy to think all these like literal industry defining titles are now hitting their like 3.5 decades.
Yeah, totally. They're like older than us.
Yes.
It's just like, oh wow, that's right. Video games have been around for a while. Yeesh.
Yeah. Cool. Now we get new video games like Returnal and Death Stranding.
Yeah. Good old Death Stranding.
Good old Death Stranding.
What if Kojima comes on the Nintendo Direct and it's just like Death Stranding?
Well, one of my bets is always will Kojima reveal himself. So
Norman Reedus puts on a Mario hat. And when
we're happy to announce Charles Martinet has retired as the voice actor of Mario, and Norman Reedus is now taking up the mantle. Mamma mia!
It's just him grunting into a mic.
That's the worst timeline.
Carl, we need to get into this pipe.
It's a dictatorship.
Yeah. Then
Carol.
Rick's the new Bowser also.
Oh yeah, by the way. He's got a British accent now. It's very weird.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. This has been going on too long, just like Walking Dead has. But that's kind of all we have for news. Again, yeah, we'll get into some E3
and
stuff.
Switch Pro, but
yeah, like the Switch Pro is such a weird thing, right? It's just like
it's probably for sure real. We just have no idea when it's happening.
It's a thing. Like it's totally a thing. Like I was watching, I think at the weird center of this, and I think just like in general when E3 is coming around, in recent years, Jeff Grubb has been like cooperating all this stuff and trying to collect everything, and does a really good does a pretty good job of it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but like he was I was watching he did like a quick like Q&A this morning on his Twitch channel, like right before we were recording this, and like he put a good perspective on it of like there's multiple people talking about this thing as a real thing, and like more than likely they probably don't have the same because they're like on different sides of the country, or different sides of like the globe, and they're
Yeah.
both cooperating that this thing exists and it's going to be revealed imminently and it's going to be out this fall. And like it's like he's saying like in no way could they like have the same source because of like just like, you know, their
Logistically, how that would work,
logistically and
yeah.
their geography on the planet, and like all kinds of like it didn't get that elaborate, but just like that general idea of like, yeah, these people probably don't have the same thing, so if they're all saying these things and they have like a good track record of being right about the stuff in the past, like this thing exists. Switch Pro probably exists. There's been like weird like some storefronts, like I know I've heard like there's like been like a Best Buy listing and an Amazon listing in different countries for something called New Nintendo Switch Pro. Which, how do you feel about that name?
I guess as long as Pro is in it or some like post title that helps, but you can't do the pre-title. We're done with that.
Yeah.
You can't just say new.
I would have taken Super Nintendo Switch Pro.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants.
Super Nintendo Switch.
Which they, again, it could be. But
if they do new Nintendo Switch Pro.
New Nintendo Switch Pro is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. But
I'm just going to call it the new Pro.
Yeah, new Pro. The NNSP.
Yeah. The NGP. Next generation portable.
Yeah, and then but like that's kind of been the thing of like there wasn't like any necessarily like new specs about it from all these like more recent rumors. Which like I'm talking about recent in like these last couple weeks.
Yeah, just kind of corroborating what we heard back in March.
Like, yeah, and it was ultimately just saying like this. They were saying this thing was going to be revealed before their E3, before E3 just period, because that way that lets third party people also say like, hey, this will be on that newer powerful Switch as well, and it'll be like our game will be on that too and run better or whatever. So like that's kind of the reasoning why they think it's going to be like imminent. Like. Right when right when those kind of tweets and like posts were going out, people were thought it was going to be that same week. Then it didn't end up being that week, and now we're in like a 4-day week because of Memorial Day in the U.S. So it's like now people are like, oh, it's not this week, but it still could be next week because of course that's before E3 still.
Yeah, technically it's the week before E3, but then also E3 technically starts on like Saturday.
Yeah, but then also Keeley has a thing on Thursday, so it's like you could have stuff we don't even know about because that's like not even tied to E3, so we have like no idea.
Yeah.
It's just like a weird time. We're in that like brace for impact kind of feeling. I think all around because things like conferences are still getting announced. Like literally, like the day we're recording this, it's like, hey. Four more places just said they're going on this like same day, so you just have like an entire day of just like information just dumped on everybody.
Yeah,
and everything's just gonna get buried and lost again like last year. But that's how it is in the current state of things.
Yeah,
online presentations and all that.
Yeah, it's them kind of embracing the. Just try and get in one while everyone's talking about video games, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I understand. Yeah, I don't know. It's hearing all these rumors and stuff. Like, obviously, it feels much more real. It's so all up in the air. I think that's why it's just like, hey, like I said earlier, we're probably going to know about it by next week at some point. So, us talking about it will be more interesting after we know all the details. And
yeah.
But we're excited and anticipating. That's all you really need to know.
That's pretty much it. Is we're just excited for this because this will be a thing. Me and you will probably both be there buying that thing day one.
For sure.
I mean, if it's doing the things I hope it does for Switch games of just like making them nice, like like nicer looking is fine, but I would say like running better,
Smoother performing, yeah.
smoother performance is like kind of my big thing.
Yeah, and it's a thing Nintendo obviously cares about, right? Like Mario Golf, I think is going to run at 60 FPS. Smash obviously always runs at 60 FPS, and 3D World high frame rate. Mario Odyssey is like a lock 60. Like if they can manage it, their games will perform as best as they can.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and it makes like third party games like more viable purchase options on Switch too. Of like, oh yeah, this game that I probably would have default bought on other consoles might look and be run better, look better on a Switch Pro now. So like I could buy it there if I wanted to, which like is a better potential proposition.
I think like also just keeping up with the curve of indie games, right? Like indie is obviously probably number one, number two in that general area for Nintendo right now, right? Like they care so much about it. They're very good with indies, and they are also slowly kind of upping the ante as far as like hardware requirements and fidelity. Yeah. It's just, normal that happens. So I think Nintendo, as long as they can kind of keep up with indies and their platform, indies can look as good and run as well as they can, 4K 60 or whatever, upscaled, then the Switch will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I think ultimately, ultimately we're just anticipating, right? It's just like, all right, just come on, give it.
Yeah, let's rip the Band-Aid off it. Let's talk about it.
Give me the hit.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, I think what we'll do, because again, like I said at the top of the show, we'll be watching and reacting to stuff, Nintendo stuff for sure. And if the Switch Pro stuff happens, more than likely what we're gonna do, because we're also doing bets for it soon here. Probably the evening or maybe like the day after all the Nintendo stuff, and we're gonna do live reactions. We'll probably do like a more post-show Nintendo Direct or post-show kind of Nintendoland episode, and maybe we'll have some other people here to give what their thoughts were on the Direct, and hopefully we'll be able to talk Switch Pro. And just all that stuff, because everything's. I think it's better just wait and see where everything lands, because there'll probably be a lot of information next week. Obviously directly from Nintendo, but also like even in some of those other presentations, we might see games that might be standout for Switch.
Especially Ubisoft. Like we can always kind of anticipate if Nintendo's putting out a new ituration of hardware, Ubisoft will be present.
Mario Rabbids 2. This time, there's Rabid Mario, but then actual Mario is turned into a Rabid 2.
So there's two Rabid Marios, and you have to figure out which one. The end of the game is you holding a gun to both Marios, and you have to figure out which one's real.
it's Rabid Mario and Mario Rabid.
Yeah, Donkey Kong's there too.
Donkey Kong's there too. He didn't. Yeah, he's not been filtered into DLC this time. He's here finally.
If Nintendo does like a standalone, like full presentation for Switch Pro in the next few days, maybe we can also like spin off and do just a specific thing about that.
Yeah, talking about it, what they showed. I really hope. I want to continue what I want. I want a continuation of like the Switch reveal trailer where it just shows Karen like she's like Karen's leaving her, like she's like
rooftop party.
Yeah, she's like waving bye to the rooftop party with her normal Switch in hand. Goes into her apartment, docks the normal Switch, and then picks up the Switch Pro.
Hell yeah.
From her desk, and then puts on a tie and then goes to work. She's professional. You're just like, oh shit, sold.
She puts on a full pantsuit.
That's right.
I too am professional.
I'm professional. Sold.
Why didn't Sony do any of this?
Yeah, seriously.
God, what a disappointing. Just having Mark Cerny up there telling me about HDR for 25 minutes.
Yeah. Being like, what is a boost mode? What the fuck is boost mode?
Answer the question, Cerny. What is boost mode?
No, that's all Nintendo needs to do to sell me on a Switch Pro personally. But we're looking forward to it. We'll get into that for sure, and look out. We'll have more stuff on youtube.com/irrationalpassions, where you can watch the video version of this podcast, or it's just an audio podcast on your favorite podcast services. So look out for this feed. Feel free to subscribe to the feed. Leave us ratings and all that fun stuff. If you're liking what we're doing or looking forward to all the E3 stuff we're gonna do. We're excited
Yeah.
and looking forward to it. So let's before we get into bets, let's talk about some Switch games that we played, just to check in. I feel like since the last time the new Pokemon Snap game came out, I feel like we
Yeah.
talked about it for so many episodes leading up. I was very excited about it, and now it's here and we've played it. It's been a few weeks since it came out, but it's I admittedly like kind of done everything I wanted to do in the game, because it's not like it's not like some massive RPG game by any means, but it's still super fun. I also reviewed it for the site, so you can go check out that video review on YouTube or check out the written review on rationalpassions.com. But overall, I really like it.
Yeah, I've only played like a very little bit of it.
I was gonna ask where did you get to in it?
I got to Night of the Jungle,
Night.
which is the second level, right? So not very far. I was like sitting down with it. I played 6 hours maybe. And to be fair, I am like also taking. I as soon as I kind of started getting into it, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take my time with this.
Sure.
I'm gonna drag this out as much as I can because it is like really such a. It's it's everything I wanted as far as like the vibe. I just was like smiling so much when I was playing this game, and that's so cool. Like, I know a lot of folks brought that up with like something like Mario Odyssey of just like how much that just game makes you smile. But yeah, Pokemon Snap is just wonderful. It is so nice. It's just such a nice game.
Yeah, it's very nice, and it's very like they got a lot of the like it feels like modern Pokemon where like they're treating them more as like these like a little bit more like cartoons than more so like they're like these wild creatures, so to speak. In some respects, because I feel like you didn't have you don't see some of the interactions you would see in that first Pokemon game where you're like smacking a Charmander in the face and he like falls into a pit or something like that. I mean, like there are some moments.
Yeah,
like
you'll get there, but it starts off a little bit chiller.
Yeah, it feels like and I not necessarily like I saw some people saying this, and like I personally don't see it as that much of a negative term, but like a lot of people called it like kind of like an amusement park ride. Where it feels like you're kind of funneled down this thing and you're like, oh, I'm seeing the moments. Okay, oh, that's that moment. That's there. And it is some of that, but I think they also... a big thing about this one is like you're kind of like a researcher like going to these habitats and like researching the Pokemon in them. And as you like take pictures, you're getting like ranked on them like you did in the first game. But now that's all being like put into a research level for any given level. And as you level up that research, you'll see like the Pokemon in that environment like get more comfortable with you, so they'll like actually come up and react to you a little bit more in those higher research levels. And also Pokemon that just weren't there before can also start appearing in those levels. So like there's like I think like that's like it's cool to like see all that stuff, but I also think it felt like there was a little bit too much of reliance on like that like gating your progress. I think was ultimately like my like minor frustration. I wouldn't say it was like a game breaking thing by any means, but it definitely felt like frustrating at times when it's like, okay, I'm playing this level like for like the 4th or 5th time just to get this research level. Because I missed this like one moment, or like maybe I didn't even realize that moment was there, so I have to then do that where I feel like in that first game there were like more magical moments of like I hit that electrode in the one level and he blew up a cave, and then I went to that cave and that's a whole new level. Like there is some stuff like that in this game to be fair, like, but it's more like centered in a level. Like I'll spoil one here, sorry, but like there's like a later level that like it's the undersea level. There's an undersea level in there. You do get to that point. And like there's like when you first get into the level for the first time on research level 1, it's like a pretty straightforward like, all right, you go through like a coral reef part, and then there's like a bunch of seaweed, and there's like Pokemon hidden in the seaweed, and you can like gotta lure them out. and then you just kind of like go into like a small cave, and then you kind of go up this like shaft to like through this reef, and there's like a bunch of tentacruel in it, like dancing around, and it's like cool, but like that's all it is for that first level until you get to like research level like at 3, I want to say, where there's like a point right at the start of the level where like a claw, I think it's called like a clawlitzer, where it's one of a newer Pokemon where it's like this blue kind of like shellfish, like crab or lobster looking Pokemon, but he has like a giant like cannon sized claw for one of his hands. And one of the new items you get in the game is like a Lumina orb. So like when you throw it on Pokemon, it like lights them up. And some Pokemon will have reactions to that. So in this case, like if you throw this light orb onto this Clawitcher at the start of the stage where he's at, he'll get like energized, and it'll shoot like a big cannon blast at this rock, and it'll open up an entire new area where it's like a whole new like cavern, and then you can like then tell your like little you like break it open, then you have like a little scan option, and then it shows like, hey, you can go through here, and then you scan it, go through, and then it goes to this entirely new like underwater section of like, oh, you're going through this big underwater cave, and there's the like there's like Inkay and which is like this little like jellyfish looking Pokemon, and like the, what are they called? They're like Chinchos, like the ones with like the big yellow glowy orb things. It's like the glowy ones are like hiding in caves in that section, and then there's like the Inkay will come up and do like a psychic attack on them to like try and get them out of the stage so you can like stop them. And then like further down the cave you can see a Starmie and a Tentacruel kind of like fighting, and like you can if it's like way down there, so you have to like hurl your like balls like way down the or like the fruit. It's mainly the fruit. There aren't like the pester balls like in the original game. So it's just like the fruit that you can kind of use in the same manner. So you can like hurl a fruit like way down this thing, and if you get it, you can like stop the Tentacruel, and like the Starmie will like stop and look at you and be like, "Yeah, thanks." But like the big thing with this stage is because like it's again with that research level of like you can't get to that point until you like get through the multiple research stages. So you're like gonna have to play this level like 10, maybe even like to get through like multiple research levels, like maybe like 10, 15 times to then get that whole part open to go explore and see it. And once you're able to explore it, it's cool because you're like after that part you like go. It's like the opposite of the shaft in the other room, and it's like you're going further down, and like on the higher research level when you go into that shaft, like there's this big like there's a big flurry of like fish Pokemon, and then a Wailord just comes up. So and it's like in your face. It's like literally the entire camera screen is just like a Wailord in front of you, and it's just like holy shit, this is really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then it goes like into this like dark underground water, and there's like like sea ruins, and like there's a bunch of cool Pokemon down there, and there's like even like a deeper secret with like that deals with like legendary Pokemon that I won't spoil that much, but like it's a cool stuff, and it's like that's like hey, that's everything I would want out of like an updated Pokemon Snap game. It's super cool, but again, it's just like it's kind of behind this sort of like built-in kind of sort of grind, but like not really.
Yeah, I mean, like I will say the thing that I was just surprised by, right? Like I don't mind that the game is very grindy, but it is very grindy, and it kind of throws at your face of like, okay, like you got the first stage, you've got it at night, and then you unlock like this Lumina Pokemon that you can go chase, and that's kind of basically a third version of the stage.
Right.
But here's like this one stage, and now you have access to all these, like try and get the research levels up across these 3 versions of the first stage. And it's like, okay, like I'm down, and that first level at the very least, I don't know how all of them are comparatively, but it's pretty short, so you're getting through it pretty quickly. You're watching the bar go up, you're seeing new Pokemon and stuff. And it's just surprising. Like I don't mind it. I'm kind of into it being a grindy thing just because I want to see everything. So I'm like, I know I'm going to play this level 30 times anyway. So now I kind of like have the incentive to get everything because then I know I'm ready to move on.
Right.
But once I got to the second level, and then you do that, and then you get the nighttime level of that, and I assume maybe a Lumina version of that as well. It is like, okay, well, maybe they should have just kind of opened up each level and then kind of activated the grind, so you have all the levels you have access to, and you can kind of jump back and forth, and it feels a little bit easier. Which I know I'll get there at some point.
Yeah, exactly. But. That's exactly what it is for me. Like you pretty much nailed it. Of like, there's a bunch of there's like a lot of levels that I didn't even realize would be in here, and all of them have like once you start getting like deeper into those levels, like you know the first couple are pretty straightforward, like that nature park and the jungle, like they have pretty straightforward paths. Like the jungle, I think has like one like optional path you can. There's like a couple optional paths in there, but not a lot. But then like the later stages, like there's that undersea one I was talking about. But then there's like a volcano level and like a big snowy mountain, and those have like multiple paths that break at different parts, so you can go down different paths and then back onto another path. And like there's a lot more stuff like that. But it's cool. But yeah, like you have to like already you kind of have to get through all of these grinding already parts to like get to that place in the first place. So like and again like we were saying grind in it, but it's like compared to like you know like we played Destiny.
Yeah,
it's like hours.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I beat this game in like 10 to 12 hours probably. Like I look at my exact switch time. It's probably more than that because I have like gone back and played, but I think that's more what it was of like. They kind of build on this thing that's like driving the story of it back because you're like a researcher and you're helping this research group understand the Lumina Pokemon on these islands, and like that stuff's all just kind of fine. Like it's like you know it's there to just a service to like move you along. But it was that thing of like I kind of just pushed through to the point where I just beat the game. So then that's when I just had everything and I can just go do it at my leisure, and that's when I like really started enjoying it. And on top of like when you beat that main story, that's when it also opens up like a lot of like cool secret shit like that the crazy,
legendary stuff.
Yeah, like legendary Pokemon and like those cool like the cool like hidden paths that like I was talking about, like that stuff becomes much more like present and prevalent after the fact.
Too.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny because like I see it's two kind of philosophical approaches to it of like, you know, spend time with the level and get acquainted with it so that way you don't have to like remember all these different like, you know, sometimes the differences between like research level 1 because you know you get to choose. Also I really like that you can like at any point go back to any research level version of a level because they do feel like I was surprised when I got to the research level 2 of the first stage. I was like, oh, this is like significantly more different than I was expecting personally, you know, kind of going into it. So.
I will say admittedly that like not every single one is like that. Well, I would say more so the jump from research level 1 to 2 is a significant jump. But I would say like research level 2 to 3 is like not as significant. Like there's definitely some stuff, but it's more about like not necessarily like brand new Pokemon you didn't see before. It's more about like these Pokemon are going to have more interactions and like things they can do.
Like that, you know, like because the first trip through a level is me like wow, you know, like just losing my mind. Totally. And then the second is like, okay, like now that I know what Pokemon are here, I'm curious how these things will kind of interact with each other. Like, you know, the first one is great because you see what's the little Score Bunny, you know, and he's running around, and then you later see Score Bunny interact with a bunch of different Pokemon as you upgrade the level. It's like, oh, this is like cool, you know. It's not different Pokemon here necessarily, but it is cool to kind of feel like I'm getting more familiar with the Pokemon that are here.
Yeah. They definitely feel like little habitats, and there's like tons of stuff, and there definitely is like plenty of like really cool and like fun little interactions, and like I'm still seeing like I'm not following. I haven't like seen as many of it. Let's say like maybe as like a Breath of the Wild with people finding new stuff, but I'm still like seeing occasional tweets are like, oh wow, this interaction, like people had no idea this was a thing already, and like that's cool to see.
Cool.
That, like
that's what I wanted more than anything, honestly, from this game.
Yeah.
So
and
it's cool. It's just it is different than what I was expecting, but it is like exceptionally well made.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to that Pokken team.
Shout out to them, baby. And there's a lot of Pokken DNA in this. It's
excellent.
It's very funny. Like literally the whole system where you're like when you like complete a level and you get like little like trainer like badges that are like you're like a first grade photographer or like a platinum photographer. They're like those are like straight up from Pokken. Like that was like a thing you unlocked in those
Cool.
too, and like a bunch of like the customization stuff for like making pictures and putting patterns on stuff. Like yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of DNA in like just like playing that game and the menus and like the graphic, like that kind of graphical stuff. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is 100% them.
Yeah.
It's very funny just to see all that stuff.
It's
Yeah.
cool. I'm a big fan of it, even though I have not played a lot of it. I was
Mm-hmm.
just completely impressed with it, and like I said, it is more, and we use grind to describe like 30 to 45 minutes of playing the same level over and over again, which is
Right.
not that bad at all. And then you're always, it feels like very quick. You are not far from seeing something brand new in that game at any point, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, and like it's there's a lot of stuff to see in that, and I really like just the breadth of different levels and like the different like kind of theming of like, so you're saying like the Lumina Pokemon stuff. It's kind of different for like they're almost like kind of like boss battles
Yeah,
in the
they're weird.
context
They're boss battles in the
of
context of this game.
yeah Pokemon, of like taking pictures of Pokemon. And they do it interestingly, and like even
Yeah,
those like
it's cool.
have their separate like level structure, like research level structure. So like you can get the research level 2 and 3 on those boss levels, and like more Pokemon show up in those
Yeah,
levels. And
I was
like,
really surprised.
it's
Like,
just
oh,
like,
another
oh
Pokemon's
sure,
here now.
yeah,
Score Bunny's here now. It's like, oh, this is like different
yeah,
and cool.
yeah.
And
And then like
yeah,
yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff like that. Like there's like legendary Pokemon, but then there's like secret Pokemon on top of that. Like I'll do another minor spoiler here, but like there's one I really liked. And there's a volcano stage you go to later, which is really cool because
yeah, you
that's
told
like
me about this one.
there's like another one that's like it's another one that has like a whole bunch of different side paths and stuff. But basically, as you grow, I think it's like once you get to like research level 2, I think it's actually research level 3 on it. As you go through the level, like there'll be more Charmanders around the level. So when you first see one, it's like right at the start of the level. You throw like a Lumina orb on it when it's like trying to like climb up a little cliff, or like trying to like get over this little ledge. And you throw a Lumina orb on it, and it'll go over, and because it's like powered him up, and it's like very cute. And there's another one like that later where it's like there's like you've probably seen them in those early levels. There's like those little like crystal flowers, they call them, like
Yeah,
crystal blooms. So they're like a common thing around like all the levels. So there's like a Charmander standing next to one of those. So if you throw a crystal, like a Lumina orb on the flower next to it, it'll start dancing and get happy. And then there's a third one that's like fighting like a Pokemon, or like trying to like, or it's like a Pokemon has it like pinned in a corner, and if you throw a Lumina orb on it, like it's like up on this like cliff over like a little cave you're going into, it'll like breathe fire at it to like scare it away. It's a little Charmander. It's very cute. And so like once you do those 3 Lumina orbs and then like go into this underground part, those Charmanders will be in another spot, like in the level further. And then what you have to do is there's a Graveler hanging onto the wall above this like weird like cracked lava pit, and you have to like throw an apple at it to knock the Graveler off and smash into it, and it just explodes and like scares the Charmanders, and they start running off, and then a Charizard just fucking flies down, and it's like this Charizard, and it's like, brr, and it's like oh sick, and then and then he flies down like the cave you're going down, because you like go through this like big cavern, and it's like blue lava everywhere, and it looks really cool, and it's like
ooh,
there's like a Flareon hanging out in there, and some like the little lava slug Pokemons. But like the end of the course is like this like big like cave with like kind of ruins in it with like a lava like waterfall next to it. It looks really cool. Originally there's like Typhlosions that like hang out in that area. But if you get the Charizard to come out, the Charizard will like come down and just like start roaring at him and like marking territory. And if you throw a Lumina orb on the Charizard, he then starts like breathing fire and roaring, and then the freaking Typhlosion are like, oh shit, and they fucking run away. And the
awesome.
The Charizard just like starts like Godzilla like won the territory like roaring, and you
Yeah,
can take pictures of him doing cool stuff. And it's like those interactions like that of like you can do that or just not throw the Lumina orb at the Charizard, and they'll just keep doing their thing. Or you cannot have the Charizard appear at all, then it's just the Typhlosions. And the Typhlosions like do different stuff, and you can like throw like an
so
apple
cool.
at you can throw an apple at them, and they'll like breathe like light it on fire and then eat it, and then do other stuff and be like pissed off when you appear because it's like their territory. And yeah,
Yeah.
there's like tons of stuff like that. Like it's just impressive. Like an individual Pokemon can like just have so many different things they could be doing depending on like how you interact with them, or if you interact with another Pokemon to react to them and stuff. And it's really cool.
Yeah, and I like the star system of like, oh, this is like a 2-star style
Right.
pose,
Yeah.
right? And it gives you a lot of incentive to like push Pokemon to see what they'll do and if you'll
Yeah.
find like a 4-star pose. I do wish you could submit like a 2-star and a
Yeah.
4-star
Stuff at the same
photo
time.
of a
Yeah.
single Pokemon. You can only do one, kind of like the first game. You
Yeah.
only do one picture of one Pokemon. But you know you're going to be going through these levels multiple times, so
Yeah.
you'll get it
Exactly.
eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It is everything I wanted and more,
Yeah.
which is what I expected it to be, and I just smile ear to ear playing that game. It's just
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It was a whole. It's yeah. I liked it a whole lot. And I hope they might do like more than maybe like some post, like there's nothing announced, but like post launch content of any kind would be
DLC could be really cool.
super cool. Like make like its own little like story thing. I make like another
Yeah, like a small
new,
island
yeah,
or something
like
like
a new
that.
yeah, like a new environment to go to. It'd be super cool.
There's only 272 Pokemon, I think, in the game, which is
Yeah,
still only part
it's
of
still
like the 800 plus Pokemon or whatever.
yeah,
So
totally. So there's plenty of Pokemon they can get back in this game. Yeah, and I would definitely play more of that or buy DLC for it or do whatever they end up doing with it if they do anything. I don't know if there's like sales numbers have come out for that yet since it's still fairly new.
yeah,
But I'm sure it probably did fine.
yeah, it had
Um,
Pokemon on the box. It probably sold very well.
yeah, for sure. Have you been playing anything on Switch?
I had a couple things. I played some more Smash Brothers. I know y'all played Smash Brothers last night
Yeah, we did.
too.
Been a
Um,
long time. It's kind of
yeah, and
surprised.
and we'll I'm sure we'll be talking about Smash Brothers characters soon. Um,
Yep.
I think outside of that, that was it. I feel like I'm forgetting something, like I always am, but I did a lot of grinding. I think since last we talked in Monster Hunter
Nice.
Rise, which is cool. I don't know, like I'm in the post game now. Like I'm at very much the end tier game. I haven't done everything so that I can't do all the cool DLC stuff that they're adding now.
Yeah. They
Um,
put like a new ending on the game or something, right? That was like the
yeah,
last
they like
like a,
expanded the
it's
story.
like the last update. And I was like, oh, that's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
essentially, they're the whole kind of narrative of Monster Hunter Rise is every 50 years there's call it the Rampage, where all the monsters kind of start storming this island together, and it's like, hey, this we just kind of got to deal with this. So get ready, we're all getting ready. And then you of course figure out that there's a monster that causes monsters to rampage.
Of course, of course.
And then there's another the story that they added is there's another monster that causes the monster that causes the rampage. And they're like
Oh,
mates. They're like lovers. So you have to kill them, of course, I assume. I haven't gotten that far yet, but
yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
it's cool. That's a game that certainly would benefit from like a Switch Pro. um, just like the idea that it could run at 60 FPS.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Obviously, it runs very well, all things considered, but it's fun getting to the late game of that, and like a big thing that they added with that game are like these special moves that you use with the kind of like bug fly things that allow you to traverse quicker in that game. And there are different special moves that you can have like equipped at any given time. So
Mm-hmm.
they've added I think 2 more special moves to the 3 that were in the game for each weapon. So they're adding more interesting stuff on top of that too. So yeah, I'm Hunter rank 6, and like 7 is like the last one you need to kind of finish the traditional story. And then
Good.
once they started adding 2.0 and 3.0, I think it's like Hunter rank 30 and then 50, but after you get to 7, you just have to complete quests and you'll just keep
Right.
going up in
Yeah,
rank.
just
So
rank up a bunch, right? Yeah, I think that's how World worked too.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's great. I'm very pleased. Apparently that game sold way better than they thought it would, and it's like, come on, guys,
Yeah.
what did you think was gonna happen?
Switch Monster Hunter game, yeah, seriously.
Yeah, but it is like, I would say, like, having played World and this, and those being my only two Monster Hunter games, even as a, you know, compromised, if you want to say, game on Switch, like, it's a great Monster Hunter game. It is a better Monster Hunter game than World is, I think. Not by like a lot. It's just, you know, it has the mounts and stuff that like getting around funner, but it's great, and I'm so glad they're still supporting it. I hope, like, if Switch Pro is a thing, that we at least get like some, you know, this game isn't going away, so it'd be nice to be told, like, hey, you know, we're gonna continue this and make it look better on Switch Pro.
Yeah, so. I definitely, I would like that's that's kind of my, honestly, my bigger hope in some regards of Switch Pro is like there's a lot of retroactive stuff of like, hey, yeah, we're gonna make these games run and look better.
Yeah, like if you don't do something for Smash Ultimate, like you're a fool.
Yeah, you're a fool. And like even like going like for like Zelda and Mario Kart or something. Like,
yeah, Mario Kart 8 especially. Like if they are not gonna make Mario Kart 9 or Mario Kart Ultimate, and they're going to put out a Switch Pro, and Mario Kart's going to sell as well as it does, you better fucking update that so it looks 4K or whatever you're doing for that thing.
Yes, for real.
That's another game that runs like flawlessly on Switch, so I'm not worried about that. It's just like, man, seeing that game in 4K
would be great.
It would be very good.
Be great, for sure. So they better do something. All right, let's see.
Anything else you've been playing?
Yeah, I just have one more game here. And that was Knockout City. It's kind of the current hot, I feel like, multiplayer zeitgeist game that who knows it, who I don't know if people will be talking about in like a month or two.
I know exactly the answer to that question. Is anyone still talking about Outriders? That's exactly what I thought.
Got him. We actually talked about that last night on the stream a little bit, but it was,
Outriders is a dead video.
Yeah, it was pretty much that same conversation of just like, yeah, no one talks about that game, even though they just said it sold really well. And it's like, oh yeah, we're you know, when we said we weren't gonna make that a games as a service game, we are. As everybody stops talking about that game, so clearly that went very well for them. That's
just saying. One game that we are still talking about. Destiny 2, baby.
Destiny 2, baby. That's right.
Still good. Better than it's ever been, some might say.
Still really good. That'd be cool. That maybe with the Switch Pro, we could see Destiny 2 on Nintendo Switch. And then, like I said before, this just becomes a Destiny podcast.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal. I'm just gonna NWO this Nintendo shirt, just rip it in half. It's just gonna be like the fucking
Titan symbol, like tattooed onto your chest.
Yeah, it's gonna be Zavala's
face.
But yeah, Knockout City. It's kind of like a 3v3 dodgeball multiplayer game.
Is it 3v3 or 4v4?
So it's kind of weird because like the main mode is 3v3, but they what they've been doing. I don't know what mode it is now, but every week they do like a second mode that is like a different thing. So the week that we streamed, there was a 4v4 mode where there were no actual dodgeballs in the arena, but in the game you can roll, as your character can roll up into a ball, and your teammates or your opponents can pick you up and throw you like a dodgeball. So like that was like the 4v4 mode that week, was like there's no just dodgeballs, you are the dodgeball, and everyone just had to like
dodgeball. That's fun.
It actually was pretty fun. And I did enjoy, we did like a group stream a couple weeks ago. It was me, Jared Green, and Scott, and Quinn, and it was fun.
I came into the Discord after the chat, and I was like, what's the deal with Knockout City? And everyone literally said, it's fine. And I was like, okay, message received.
Yeah, because like that's like that difficult thing of like I don't fully know, but like it gives me strong Ninjala vibes.
Ooh,
but like,
because the vibe I think it needed, and I don't know if it does. Splatoon. I'll ask you. Is Splatoon maybe? But I was gonna say like Rocket League.
Yes, yeah, that too, totally. I don't think it gets all the way there, and I think the problem with that is which I think they're rapidly figuring out because the thing I think the thing that popped it off was that they did like hey, the first 2 weeks of this game is just free and it's on Game Pass, so just get into it. But once it hits this point, it's going to be a game sold for sale. And then once I think that came out, and then they saw how popular it was because it was free. And so they went like, yeah, we're gonna extend that out. If you can now play up to like level 25 and it's free. Like I think they're already they already did that within like a few weeks of this game coming out. So
yeah,
I think they learned that pretty quick. That's like, oh yeah, this should have just been a free to play thing. And I think it'll get there and probably be fine. Like I think it'll have its crowd, but I do not see that being a game personally for me taking over like any other like games I'm already kind of regularly playing for like multiplayer, like to play with other people, or just a game to just like pick up and play. It's not an immediate game for me. It's just because like it feels like that game. It's also a very specific type of game where like the people that are going to get into it are going to really get into it, and then like in a few weeks when like just like a general crowd is not playing it as much, it's just not going to be fun to play because the people who are playing it are just like crazy good and like gotten and have learned all the strategies. I've memorized where to like hang out. Like even in that stream when it was like still like fresh, somewhat new. Like we were already seeing people doing that. Of like they had learned like, oh, this special unique kind of dodgeball hangs out here, and we're just gonna all hang out around here and just let them come to us, and because they have to, because like that's how the game works. And then we just get trounced because we're just like fucking around and like. Because we're just in the stream, just like shooting the shit and talking, and like clearly this other group is like getting into it, or like have like clan or like a clan set up, and they have like clan names next to their thing.
Hell yeah, Dodgeball
Clan, and it's just like, it's okay. Well, in some respects, like if they already have that stuff, then like yeah, maybe they're good. That's all the people they need. They don't need like random jamokes like us coming in every so often. But it's fun. Like I think it has cool ideas with like all the dodgeball mechanics because it's a lot of like so there's like some fighting game mentality to it of like the person's gonna like you have a couple different ways you can throw like a ball. You can kind of hold it and charge it, or you can like press a button and like in a direction and your character will like spin. And if you do that, like the direction you spin will make it a curved throw, or you can kind of like do like a flip, like a front flip or a back flip. And if you do the throw during that, it makes it like a kind of like up air throw, like kind of like slower lob to kind of like play off of people. And of course, you can like you have like a quick chance to like you press a trigger and it's kind of like a parry like window of like grabbing the ball back so you can throw it back or whatever. And like just grabbing somebody's ball that they threw at you will like power it up to make it throw faster. And it has like the link Ganon thing of like you throw it back and it catches it, and you throw it faster, and you throw it back then it throws faster, and so you can kind of get into a volley like that if you want, if you're pretty good at the game. And then like there's the whole thing of like your allies can roll up into a ball and you can pick up and throw them. You can also pass between people. So like if you pick up a person who's rolled up into a ball on your team, then throw to another member of the team, or like it'll kind of instantly charge up this like super attack where they become like a big bomb. Then like it throws them up in the air, and then you get like an air strike essentially like thing where you can like drop onto a thing. So like there is definitely mechanics and like some team play stuff going on, but it is just like it's fun. But I just like there's people who are probably already like way more into that kind of idea and getting way hardcore into it. That's just like a game I don't see myself going that route with it because it was fun, but not like that interesting to get into. But it was still fun. I brought it up because it is also on Switch. It's on everything. It has crossplay, which is cool.
The worst trailer, I think, in a Nintendo Direct, though.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a much better trailer for this game in like the EA thing.
That was right. You're totally right. That's like the one that was like
showing all the video game animated characters that are like being interviewed, and they all just I guess play a dodgeball game. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, you can be anybody, which like is a
I
nice.
tried to forget about that trailer.
It's a nice like, and I also give them credit, since it's it's June now, it's Pride Month. They put out like a whole tweet thread of like, here's like a code you can put in to get like pride, various pride flag colors for.
Cool.
Different like genders and all that stuff. And I thought that was really cool. And they just like said like they also made sure to be like, hey, this like all this stuff is just in the game. Like you can just put these codes at any time. It's not a limited thing for the Justice Month. Like these just exist. Have at them.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That's cool. I also shout out to Jared Green who reviewed this for IGN.
Yeah, Jared Green,
which is I would say review. A big deal.
Yeah, go check out. He's been doing a bunch of stuff over there. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's video games. Unless you got anything else.
I think that's it.
Great. Well, let's get into it. It's time for bets. Bets. Once again, we have made 5 bets for each other.
Yeah, my bets are for Mike. Mike's bets are for me. Nobshin's bets are for both of us.
So I'll let you get.
We want to do Nobshin's first, right? Because we don't want crossover. I think I only have 5 of these.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say either yours first or Nobshin's first, because I made a couple extra in case we had.
Yeah, I have some extra as well.
But if we want to start with Nobshin's bets, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good.
I'm pulling up our doc here so I can.
Yeah, you want to write these
down. Yeah. So cool. This is Nobshin's first E3 or Nintendo E3 Nintendo Direct bet for us. For both of us. Bets. Let's get into it.
This one's good. Again, I've tried not to like think about these. I'm trying to come into these pretty cold as well.
Keeping it pure. I respect it.
Yeah, always professional. First one. How many different wearables / transformations will Kirby show off in total in the Direct? Which is a great bet. And again, there is the thing with Nobshin's and mine. I'm sure yours. You just have to have just thunder happening right now. This is very scenic.
I didn't hear it, but that's exciting.
That means it's closer to me than it is to you, I think.
Yeah, I'll probably get you soon.
There's just a confidence with the bet that you have to deliver. Like
he's saying Kirby will be there in any form. And that's the thing. This could be in multiple things too, because this could be like a Smash Brothers trailer, like showing
Smash what I thought first. Yeah.
Oh yeah, here's fucking anime sword band number 486 that's revealed to be the next DLC characters. Here's Marth 2, and it's just like Kirby with Marth hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, posing next to him because it's goofy.
That counts. A character that is related to a character that's already in the game, but instead of showing that character, they show Kirby dressed as that character, right? That counts too.
Yep, that counts. You're right.
It could be Kirby dressed as Ryu and Akuma shows up. Who knows? Exactly. So I just love, and also like there's probably going to be a Kirby game,
also that's totally
free to play Kirby game,
like some free to play Kirby game, or some like actually new Kirby game, because it has been a while since we've seen a proper Kirby game.
That was 2017. It was first year of the Switch. Right?
It was 2017. Yeah, 2017.
Might have been 2018
or 18. Kirby Star Allies.
Either way, it's been 3 or 4 years. So
yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So how many total will we see during the Direct, right? How many total transformations?
Yeah, wearables / transformations.
Okay, got it. I'm going to say 5.
I had it in my mind of like, max. I'm either going to go 2 or 27. So you went low, so I'm going to go 27.
It totally could be that of like, here's like that weird Kirby Smash Brothers ripoff game, a sequel to that, and then you're like, fuck, because then it's like 20 Kirby's like all wearing different outfits at the same time. It's like,
absolutely. So 27.
So you're doing 27.
I'm doing 27.
Okay, 27. Excellent. I love it.
And we got a couple of different like formats. It's a numerical one. We got some yes or no, true or false ones in there.
Excellent. So. Yeah, I think I did. I think I had a similar setup as well. All right, next. So that's how many Kirby transformations will be shown. I said 5. Alex said 27. Either of us could be right on that one.
Yeah, anyone's game.
Anyone's game on that one. I love it already. All right, let's get.
This is number 2.
Number
This is
2.
probably the most Nobishin bet of the group, which I love, and I love him for it. Will Bayonetta's hairdo for Bayonetta 3 be long or short? Specifically, her hair on her head, not her hair suit. So she rocked the bob, kind of like the shortcut in Bayo 2. Had the original ponytail in Bayo 1. I'm going long. Now, I also recognize the possibility that she could go like full bald as like a power statement in Bayo 3, but I feel like it'll be long.
I'm also with you in that it's long. This is like by no means like a feeling on it, because granted, like they had that teaser trailer that they showed for Bayo like at Game Awards many years ago now, and I feel like it was just the traditional looking Bayonetta.
Yeah, it was just Bayonetta 1.
Because I didn't
Bayonetta.
think it was Bayonetta 2 in that trailer. So I feel like they could just go back to that more standard Bayonetta look.
Yeah. But I think
that,
if
also,
you're not expecting a whole new style, you are banking on the wrong play. I think she's going to look fabulous, whatever she does.
That is true. But also there could be but also maybe that's the way they dictate.
There could be multiple. Exactly. We are in.
That's what I was gonna say. Like maybe that's how they differentiated of like, oh, she has like a different kind of hairstyle and look with her hair suit.
Yeah, she could have like transformations,
show, like, new like styles of combats and abilities and stuff.
You could like maybe switch between like Bayo 1 style and Bayo 2 style, and maybe like a third. Yeah,
and she's also, and I think in the original Bayonetta, she had like. It might have just been in the ports, but I think it might have been the base game too. She had like different outfits with different stuff.
Yeah, the Nintendo outfits in the Switch version. Yeah.
But I feel good about like just like base long hair. I think long hair's on the table.
Yeah, I think she's grown out. Again, I love it.
Yeah,
no, I think Bayonetta 3's got a shot here.
I agree. I think it's like it's a good time for it. Like.
If Switch Pro is real, then
and like like not to mention like partially related, but like Square Enix like detailed some of their stuff they're showing, and Babylon Fall is coming back around that, and like they were relatively close, I think, to each other's announcements. Like, I want to say they were in the same year.
Yeah,
they were announced. Or like
might have been Babylon's Fall might have been 2016. I think Bayonetta 3 was 2017. So I don't know.
Or like I think they were near each other. At least in some regards.
A very long time ago for both.
Yes.
Suffice to say.
So I think like I feel pretty good about it being Bayonetta's time to finally at least get like a full proper unveiling of that game. Whether it's out this year, but I think we actually see that goddamn video game.
Could be in the next 12 months. I think that's reasonable.
Sure.
How many games? Number 3. How many games will mention their motion control feature for it? How many games
will mention
motion controls? So Mario Golf is there, but we don't know how much they're going to talk about Mario Golf.
True.
That's one though.
That's like a tricky thing, right? Because like they could not show much of it in the direct again, but they could do like here's us talking about it. Well, I guess we this one we can elaborate. Like, do we want to talk just the direct? Or
just the direct.
Just the direct. Okay.
Not Treehouse, because they're gonna get into all the weird stuff in the Treehouse.
Talking about. Here's motion controls again.
Yeah. I mean, like, I could easily. They're gonna talk about Breath of the Wild 2, presumably, right? There's still probably going to be like somebody will be like, and you can still aim with the Switch, and it's like, all right, you didn't have to mention it, but I guess that's another one.
Yeah, that's still a thing. Okay, sure.
I went first last time, so
I will say how many games total. I'm gonna say 3 because I think.
I was gonna say 3 as well.
Because I think we're gonna get more. We're probably gonna get something else on Skyward Sword HD, and they're gonna be like, "Look at those! Controllers! Like that
you can't buy them.
That counts to me as mentioning of motion controls personally. And then I think
Mario Golf obviously is one.
Mario Golf could potentially be one.
Breath of the Wild 2, like I said, could potentially be one of those.
Breath of the Wild 2. No, I think they could bring up No More Heroes 3 because I know No More Heroes.
That's for sure.
3 could have motion controls because I think they did it with those ports. I think they have some motion stuff and not motion stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4. I'm not trying to one up you here, but I was in that ballpark is where I'm at as well.
Right. Okay, that's fine with me. So there we go.
There's so many unknowns.
There's a lot of unknowns on that
one. We'll talk about all these Donkey Kong rumors once we get.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll definitely circle back to some stuff if we missed it in the bets, so we can just cover
more than there should be.
Cover all their ground.
Will be the answer to this bet, though, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yes, 100%. Okay, bet number 4.
Number 4. Will another Xbox property, former or current, that hasn't made an appearance before in the Direct, make an appearance before be in the Direct? Something like Stubbs the Zombie, former Xbox exclusive counts, or even Psychonauts, since that is now an Xbox property. So Xbox mention.
That's literally what I was going to say is yes, but Psychonauts on Switch. It's easy.
I'm going to say no, but you're right. Yeah. You are right.
Think of that. So yes. No.
We could also, a thing we haven't talked about just in general, but we could be looking at a Psychonauts 2 Shadow Drop at E3.
So that's been exciting. So I hate to be the one to give you
it's been debunked,
but it's been debunked. Yes, it is not happening. It's like a lot of people are still saying it's like within probably the summer, but it won't be a Shadow Drop, but it'll be close.
I'm still very excited for Psychonauts.
Me too. I'm super stoked for that game. Okay, bet number 5.
This one's for you, Mike.
Yes, give it to me.
How much total airtime will Waluigi have during the Direct? Pictures don't count. Has to be in motion. It's the only specification that Novition has in any of these bets, and I love it. Oh man. Oh.
How much airtime will Waluigi have?
Total. Oof.
I'm gonna say 2 seconds.
Damn.
And the Mario Golf.
It's just him sneering.
Yeah, it's gonna. So you're. Wait. Sorry, I thought
total airtime.
I thought you meant. Well, I thought you meant airtime in as him actually in the air doing something in the.
No, but that is very good.
Airtime as in like how long will he
be how much ups does Waluigi have? No, like as in he will be on screen, filmed.
Yes. Okay, got it.
How many dunks will Waluigi make?
I'll still say like 5 seconds.
All right. I'm gonna say 17 seconds. Not a lot. I'm with you, but I feel like we might get a full like a tracking shot of some Waluigi shenanigans, which I would be very into.
I'm specifically thinking of like him either like doing a golf swing in like a Mario Golf trailer, or like them doing like or like them doing like a multiplayer thing, and he's just like a character that's also there, kind of like he's just like runs by off screen for a second in the Mario Golf trailer. Because I don't think we'll see any other. Well, I don't know. Because the only other thing I could think of is like if they just randomly bust out a new Mario Party or something at this thing. They're like, here's Super Mario Party 2. But I don't know. They just put online in that new game. Or
maybe
in the old game,
it'll
so maybe
Waluigi is the villain of the new Donkey Kong game.
Shit. He's crossed.
That would be great.
They've crossed it. Waluigi has come into the Donkey Kong universe.
It's just him and King K. Rool drinking champagne and looking at roses.
Yeah.
God. I just want that game now. Those are options bets.
Love it.
Yes.
Those are solid. So we'll just go through all the bets once we've gone through all of ours.
Yeah, we can go from the top.
Go from the top. All right. So do you want to do yours next, or do you want me to go?
You want to go? I just did all the options.
Sure. Let me just make sure.
We can go back and forth for these ones, but yeah.
Let me just make sure. Yeah, I can take out one of these.
Did he get any of yours?
I did have a bet that was about a Psychonauts port on Switch.
Okay.
I was like, Psychonauts port revealed on Switch, yes or no? For Switch, yes or no? That was one of my things. But we kind of talked about it here.
Mine are very... Well, you know what? We'll just get to it when we get to it.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. All right, my first bet for you, Alex O'Neill.
Hit me with it.
Will Samus Aran appear in any non-Smash Bros. Capacity?
Yes. Lock it in.
Okay.
I have a Samus bet too, but it's different and it's also good.
Aran appear.
Where are you at? Do you think so?
Non-Smash Bros. Yeah, I hope so. I hope we that either that fabled 2D Metroid exists, or we get like a one last thing, and it's like a cool CG Metroid Prime 4 trailer, even though that game's still like probably 3 years away. I just think it's a solid time. Like it's like give like, you know,
give me a mention.
Give me a mention. Just drop a bone. It's also Samus's Metroid's 35th anniversary. God damn it! Just give us one little thing. Yeah. I think it's enough time has passed like that, and I think it's just it's time.
Yeah, agreed. All right, I'll do my Samus bet then for you.
Okay,
because it lines up.
So bet number 1 for me.
Will we zoom in to a first-person perspective into Samus's helmet? And now I like that, and I always like to give a little context. I like this because this could be the Metroid Prime Trilogy remaster, because that is how Metroid Prime 1 opens. This could be Metroid Prime 4. This could be some weird CG trailer for something. Or it could be a Metroid game. It leaves a lot. We got a lot of room here.
It's true. There's a lot of room there, but I'm still gonna say no.
See, I was gonna say no too, but it's because I think if we see a Metroid game, it's a
2D Metroid game. That's I 100% agree. And like they won't do this unless they do some weird other M junk and they do like the 2D 3D swap again. From that
which
game,
I thought about. I did think about. Banjo-Kazooie did it. Banjo-Tooie did first-person sections. It's my only point of reference for this.
Yeah, seriously.
As long as you control it with more than just the Wii remote, it would have been fine, honestly. But.
Yeah, just I think they could make that work, but I don't. But I also don't think. I think we're gonna see, if we see anything Metroid, it'll be that currently rumored 2D game, whether it's a brand new from the ground up 2D or it's like a remake of Super Metroid or Zero Mission or something else. Like I'm down for whatever it ultimately ends up being.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, my next bet for you.
Right.
Deciding which one.
No, you're fine. Take your time.
Okay, I was good. I don't do the goof one yet. I'll leave the goof one for later. Do we see Mario in a cart anytime during the direct?
Ooh. Yes.
I like it.
Could be a golf cart. You never know. I don't know if there are golf carts in that game, but
I don't know if there is or not, but that'd
be so funny.
If that did happen, I would count it. That's very funny.
Yeah, I just want to see Bowser drive that thing then.
I mean, really, this could be like, if they do reveal that Switch Pro within the next week, and then have that thing being like Mario and I mean, granted, that could be in whatever that reveal is, but if it's in the direct, they can go like, here's Mario Kart 8 will be in 4K or updated or something, or what I truly want, that's still probably not going to happen, is Mario Kart 9.
Yeah.
But
It's tough.
But
That game, that Mario Kart 8 is still selling very well.
yeah, that's kind of the stopping point, and like we kind of said earlier, of like if they're just if they do some kind of visual upgrade to that, and even like maybe in that with that visual update, maybe they just put new stuff in that because it's just selling so well, and they can just go like, yeah, we'll just put another like
I mean, yeah, at
character
least
in
give me
there.
another DLC patch, couple more tourneys and stuff. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be cool. I would take that too. Just anything at this point, please.
Yeah.
So Mario Kart. So that one was Mario.
Will appear in a cart.
Will Mario appear in a cart anytime in the direct? You said yes.
Yes.
Okay. So do we want to keep going back and forth, or do you want me to just go on to mine?
Yeah, no, I got good ones here, man.
Excellent. Let's do it. So your second bet for me.
How many times will Donkey Kong jump? I like this one because it's very nebulous.
It's true. Because he could be jumping in a Smash Brothers trailer. He could be jumping in a new game trailer, or
yeah, this is coming off of these Mario Odyssey team working on a possible 2D Donkey Kong Country game, which
could be jumping in the Mario Golf trailer.
Yeah, jumping in his cart.
How many times will he jump? I'm gonna say 3 times.
I like it. I would say like double jumps don't count necessarily. Just like the initial jump, I would just kind of want
the initial, like he leaves the ground jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you feeling about these Donkey Kong rumors?
It sounds cool, but like this also has big like what was that one? Star Fox Grand Prix by Retro vibes of like Retro's making Star Fox Grand Prix. Like it sounds like it's like that's a cool idea, but is it? I don't know if that's actually what they're doing, and like I could just see the Odyssey team just working on the next Mario game, and like that's like they're clearly working on something because they did that 3D World like edition. Bowser's Fury. I assume that was them, and they're now working on whatever's next, and that's probably was working on whatever those ideas will come from that. I'm super stoked for, but I don't know. Like I would be down like if it ends up being real, like I'm totally down for it. Just like because I think the rumors were more like it wasn't just like it wasn't like a traditional Donkey Kong Country thing. It was more like
some kind of 2D adventure game.
Yeah, like if it's like, what kind of post world will we live in if Donkey Kong gets a Metroidvania game this year before Metroid does?
The thing is, I would be stoked for it because Nintendo's making a Metroidvania. I'll play it. I was thinking about that. Like, I think if they did something like that, that could be really cool. And I know some of like the more crazier aspects of the rumors of like it's a 3D platformer like Donkey Kong 64, which I would legitimately love to see because the problem with that game above anything else is it's so old. It's old it has the tightness of a N64 platformer, and as many collectibles as well. So if you took the idea of like having different Kongs, or even like have it like be a co-op game like Donkey Kong Country has been, and kind of flesh that out into a full 3D, like Donkey Kong level design has always been really great, I think, and Donkey Kong characters have always been fun, and the abilities, like the Metroidvania style abilities that you get in Donkey Kong 64 specifically, I think are great too. So if they even just kind of inherited that vibe, it would be so cool. It was such a foreign idea. I had never thought of it, so it's like, I would play the heck out of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
It would be really cool, and agreeing, like the idea of them trying to like make like a Metroidvania game with like multiple Kongs would be, I'd be really into that for sure too. Just like here's this whole section dedicated to like Diddy Kong, and he has like his jetpack, and here's like Cranky Kong with his like
his cane going through like spikes or something,
and even like get really weird and bring back like the 64 Kongs. Like
bring Lanky back, bring Chunky back, or Tiny Kong,
who's like hands standing around, or like even like the weird old Donkey Kong Country like Kiddy Kong or whatever.
Yeah,
I'd
be very into all of that.
Yeah, like I would definitely be open to that, but like it's just I think that initial pitch to me was just like that's like this. It gave me that same vibe of like, yeah, Retro's making a Star Fox game. What? Where it's like
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey team's making a Donkey Kong game. What?
Just like a Star Fox racing game seems like misplaced attention to me.
Yeah, and I could see this game being that similar feeling to me.
Yeah.
But ultimately I like if it ends up being an actual like legit, I'm totally in.
Cool.
But
me too.
But I'm still slightly skeptical.
Yeah.
I could see that just being some just a thing people
a
get
rumor of something else that got
a
misconstrued.
rumor that like gets like it's like somebody said it and then like it ends up getting a bunch of buzz because it's a cool idea and then there's just nothing comes out of it because it was just like, oh, cool idea. Next bet from me.
I'm ready.
Will we see a monkey in a ball?
Ooh. This is very significant. God.
I mean, once again, weirdly
there's
enough,
a lot. Yeah, you've left it perfectly nebulous.
Because this could be a Donkey Kong, any of those Donkey Kong Monkey Kongs being in the ball.
Yeah, maybe that's how you like save Diddy Kong or something. Somebody put him in a ball. I don't know.
Oh, exactly.
God, I'm going to say yes just because I want it to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if Sega's like, guess what, we're doing it, Monkey Ball's back, I would be so stoked. That is also a game that would use motion controls.
Yes. Yeah. The real game, like, again, that Donkey Kong thing was real. The real game I would want to see is I'm more aligning this towards is I would like to see a new Monkey Ball game.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's that Monkey Ball port that came out relatively recently, like sold well, so I could see them even just doing like here's the other the actual Monkey Ball games you want.
I know,
a ported to Switch.
Dole's got all this sponsorship money that's going to waste. Seriously. You know what I mean?
Come on, Dole.
They got bananas they gotta sell.
Ball.
All right.
Okay, I'm just writing that down real quick.
That's a good one.
Yes. Okay, so this is your third bet.
Yeah.
Around, correct. Okay, just making sure I had the numbers right on everything. Okay, bet number your third bet for me is what we're.
Will a video game character, hold up a peace sign, which is the two fingers up? And I love this because like Pikachu does that shit all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Pikachu does do that all the time.
See a video game character hold up a piece.
A piece. I told you they might have dope. And
I like that though.
I'll tell you the character that I'm thinking of when I say this is Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I know that's obviously a reach, but you know
that is a reach. And for you saying that reach, I'm going to say yes. We will see a character holding up a piece.
I adjusted to keep it more vague because I feel like it'd be way funner if it was just somebody else.
Yeah, just some other. It's going to be some bad EA game that's like being ported to Switch.
It totally could be.
Or it's going
to be for Knockout City.
It's going to be like it's going to be a Fortnite character.
It totally could. That would make so much sense. Samus in Fortnite holding up the peace sign. It's like, well, there. Yeah, I'm just happy she's there.
Yeah, at least someone remembered her.
Yeah, on her birthday.
Okay, so what are we at? Because I got one of mine taken.
We're number 4.
We're number 4. Because I'm trying to. I have one here that will kind of be a layup, but so I'm not. So that's like an easy one. I feel like so I'm going to go with this other one. Will there be more or less than 3 shadow drops shown during the direct?
Oof.
So
less
than 3. Okay.
Them confirming Silk Song not being there is now less. If they hadn't said that about Hollow Knight being like, no, we don't have anything to show, I would have said yes. I want you to know that. But
but no Silk Songs.
I hope I'm wrong. Shadow drops are always fun.
No shadow drops for that. Okay. Yeah, I always like shadow drop bets because you never know, because it could just be
I think there will be
10
like
new games
one
to play. What in the world? Like, or it could just be like one.
I think there will be one, but
cool.
3 is a good number. That's like right enough for
Right enough.
it's possible, but I don't know.
Exactly. I'm excited for those.
Yeah.
Always a fun time being like, hell yeah.
Yeah, like when we were mentioning 2019, it was the Mana collection was in that.
Right.
Was a
Yeah.
shadow drop in there? It
Shadow
was
drop there.
great.
And also it's, I will say specifically, well, I know I didn't know if I wanted to go as specific as shadow dropped full games or like a shadow dropped like
Demo,
here's this
sure.
yeah, like here's like a shadow drop demo, or like
I was thinking full games.
maybe a Smash Brothers character is dropped that day or something.
Yeah,
like
I would count a Smash Brothers character though.
Yeah.
I think that's significant.
Yeah,
enough.
like I would say I would cut it at like a demo. Like if it's just like here's a demo today, I wouldn't count. I know if I'd count that, but if it's like here's a proper ass video game or like some
if it's
major addition, like a downloadable update for a game.
If it's a demo of a game that they announce, like Project Triangle Strategy, I think we could count something like that because that is like big and significant.
Okay.
It's like, oh, we just announced like this big thing, and now you can play some of it right now. Like
Right.
I think that is
sure. Yeah.
that could count. But yeah, outside of that, demos would be a tough sell.
Yes. Yeah. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll take it to the judges.
If it happens, that's right. Take it to the judge. He's back there.
Judge Jarrett.
He's watching back there.
Yeah, Snorlax. Judge Snorlax. How many dungeons will we see?
How many dungeons will we see?
Yeah. And like I think we'll have to have some conversations about this.
Yeah, because I was gonna say
if we see like an ancient temple that they don't necessarily go into,
there has to be like some chains on a wall. Like you like when you see a screenshot, you're just like chains on a wall dungeon.
I mean more like like video game dungeon. So like if we see like Legend of Arceus, right? Like if they see like an ancient temple that they don't go into, I'm like that could be a dungeon. But we would talk about
sure,
be like, is that a dungeon or no?
Yeah,
obviously Zelda is the thing I'm thinking about here. Right. But I want to leave it open that other dungeons could show up.
Sure, totally. Well, how many? So you guys said how
many dungeons will we see?
How many dungeons will we see? I'm gonna say 2 dungeons.
That's what I would say too. Yeah,
because I think we will see some Breath of the Wild 2 in this, and like we will see some things that go
minimum of one.
That looks like a dungeon. And we might see a second
there's some
shot
chains on that wall.
There's some chains on that wall.
I think that's a dungeon.
There's like some wooden barrels in a corner next to some some stone. Yeah. There's some like moss on the rocks. So there's a torch being on the wall.
Yeah, torch banners for sure.
Let me see. I'm gonna say two dungeons. Yeah, because I think like we will see like quick glimpses of like at least two separate dungeons that we will go into in Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah. And I like this too because it's open-ended enough. Like they could do like a whole like highlight reel of like 7 dungeons, and we're like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly. Like what in the world? Okay, here's my last one.
Final bets.
Final bet. And actually, funny enough, this is also a Donkey Kong. This will be a Donkey Kong one.
Excellent.
Will Donkey Kong have a big boy slip?
I was gonna do a big boy slip.
I got it first.
You did get it first. Oh, that's great. Yes, there has to be. If there is a Donkey Kong game and not some excellent use of a banana peel, then I will be infuriated.
I don't want to play that Donkey Kong game, frankly.
Yeah, I'm out. Hard out.
It's just like it has that classic opening of like he jumps out of his hut and like slips on a banana, and you're just like, but then gets up, you're just like,
that's the big boy, and he just slips.
He just slipped. Big boy slipped.
Excellent. Sorry, this one's very good. This one's for you, Mike.
Excellent. Okay, final and fifth bet for me, for Alex.
Going off of that one thing we know about The Legend of Arceus, how many will we see of this? How many Pokeballs will be thrown?
How many Pokeballs will be thrown?
This is a fun one because I feel like it could be a lot.
And this is just for like Pokemon, like it's not necessarily just for
the direct.
This is for the direct, so it's not necessarily like you said Legends Arceus, but this could be like in Diamond and Pearl, like if they show like a Diamond and Pearl
Yeah.
remake thing, or like
Or
maybe
Smash
like
Brothers.
a Smash thing. Okay, I'm gonna say 10 Pokeballs.
That's good. Yeah, I would go high for that because like the one thing we know about RCS I love is just throwing Pokeballs.
Yeah.
So I figure we could get like 10 in there easy, you know. And then like if the new Smash character is a Pokemon or something, maybe they'll come in on a Pokeball. Who knows?
Excellent. So we have our bets.
Excellent. These are very good.
Yeah, these were a lot of fun.
Not a lot of crossover. The Big Boy Slip is very funny that we were both there, but
I knew we were gonna get one big boy slip in there. You always got to get it in.
Yeah.
There's our bets. Let me run it down for everyone real quick. So these are the five. These are Alex's. These are the 5 bets Alex gave to me. Will we get to see a first-person view of a zoom in to Samus's visor in first person? I said no. How many times will Donkey Kong jump? I said 3 times. Will we see a video game character hold up a peace sign? I said yes. How many dungeons will we see? I said 2. And how many Pokeballs will be thrown? I said 10.
Excellent.
My bets for Alex. Will Samus Aran appear in a non-Smash Brothers capacity? You said yes. Will we see Mario in a cart at any time during the Direct? You said yes. Will we see a monkey in a ball? You said yes.
I have a lot of belief. I'm learning about myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm here for all of it because I want to see all of this too. That's
yeah.
How many will there be more or less than 3 shadow drops during the Direct? You said no. And will Donkey Kong have a big boy slip? You said yes.
Absolutely.
And then Nabashin, of course, had some great bets, and these are the wildcard bets. These are worth more. Once again, the rolls, these are worth. I think like we'll have ours worth like 1 point each, and his will be worth like 2 or 3 points each. But if one of us gets none of them wrong, our doesn't get any of them right. Excuse me. Like so, basically, if we get any of us get through all 5 of these and get any wrong, or get none of them right. Okay, I wrote it down. Yep, Nabashin's bets are correct bets. Yep, the winners are continuing. The loser, what it says, guess bets will be worth 0 points. Also, if either of us don't get any of Nabashin's bets, one of our correct bets will be negated for our points. Invalidated. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Words are hard. So Nabashin's bets. How many Kirby transformations will be shown? I said 5. Alex said 27.
Go big or go home.
Go big, baby. Will Bayonetta have long or short hair in the Bayonetta 3 trailer or gameplay or whatever they show? We both said long hair. How many games will mention motion controls? I said 3. Alex said 4. Will another Xbox property make an appearance on Nintendo Switch? I said yes. Alex said no. And how much total airtime or video on-screen presence will Waluigi have? I said 5 seconds. Alex said 17 seconds.
Pictures don't count for that last one.
Pictures do not count.
Although it would be very funny if they just had like a picture of Waluigi up for like 25 seconds.
Just frozen frame on him, just not doing anything.
Just looking despicable.
That would be pretty hilarious. But yeah, those are the bets. These are good. I like them. This is going to be a fun week. So doing these is like a thing that just also makes me more excited just to see that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It helps build the excitement for E3.
Exactly. Builds it up. Do we want to say yet? Because I said like for the loser
or stipulations.
Stipulation. Do we want to say those yet? How are you feeling?
I'm ready. I feel like we can knock them out. I was
going to say I have yours and mine. So say what is your stipulation for me if you win and I lose?
Now I hope you saw this coming, Mike. But some might say you'll never see it coming because you knew somewhere deep in your heart. If I win, you are required. And I will provide the copy of playing through minimum the first dungeon of Persona 5 Royal with the expectation that you're going to be like, you know what? I will see this through.
So if I just like do this for Dungeon, I'm just like, nah, I'm good, dog. You'll just be like,
You
fuck.
are allowed to say no, I'm good, but it's one of those games I very much have always wanted to make you give a shot, and now you've given me the ammunition.
Yeah. Okay. That's totally fine. I will.
It's a
I'm
big.
totally fine
It's
with that.
it's like
It's a
15
commitment, but it's
hours.
not. But
It can
it's
be.
also a game like I probably should have at least tried to play at some point.
Yeah,
I
you
just
might
haven't
take it.
sit down. Okay, that's a good one. I'll say if I win and you lose, Alex O'Neill, you must download 2 horny visual novel games on Nintendo Switch, one of your choosing and one of
Okay.
my choosing.
Oh, excellent.
And then for the following episode of Nintendoland, once like we'll probably decide who the winner is for the post show direct. For the
Mm.
following show, the one that would be after that, probably like in July or early August, you have to have either written a review for either or just a general thoughts and impressions piece for both of them to share on the next episode of Nintendo Land.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, I can do that. I mean,
Great.
this isn't a punishment. Let's be real. This is what I was built for.
This was built for. I'm gonna find a real good one. Is all I'll say.
I'm gonna find a real good one too.
um, excellent.
Excellent.
Those are both really good.
Perfect.
Great. Well, I think that'll do it for the episode here.
Yeah. Any last? Do we want to?
Oh yeah, right.
Want to get some last thoughts, predictions, maybe.
Last thoughts, final predictions here.
I will say before Nobish sent over his bets, he did give me some nice little quasi predictions here.
Oh sure, yeah.
That I want to lay off here. Splatoon 3 will have its own form. Splatoon 3, can't forget about that game. Very excited. Will have its own form of battle royale in its multiplayer, but will only be limited to the amount of players, so like 24 or 32 is his guess. So it can still involve the ink aspect of it.
Right.
Maybe more vertical version of it, like a really tall building, rather than being super wide open area, since that doesn't really work with the mechanics. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I keep forgetting about Splatoon 3 because that's next year, but
yeah, it's a next year video game. But like, yeah, I'm definitely really I'm stoked for that game, but I hope they do something big with it. In terms of like either like a big single player, more like focused single player thing, or something like that, where it's like here's like an entirely new mode that takes like the core of Splatoon and like gives it like a new thing. Not to say that Splatoon 2, I like Splatoon 2 a lot. I probably didn't play it as much as the first game, but I think that was just kind of the thing with it, where like it was just kind of more of that first game, which was good. And like I like the single player that was there. They did like a single player DLC called the Octo Expansion, which is really good. That's probably like the best Splatoon I played, period, in some regards. But like, but then just going into the multiplayer, like it was pretty much a lot of the same, and like that's fun. But like I already did a lot of that on Wii U, so I hope they do something for sure that's like mixes it up. Like here's like a battle royale, like the idea of a battle royale put into like the Splatoon mechanics and ideas, and like having like the crazy abilities like you can have in a Splatoon match, like go off in like a battle royale sounds cool. Like, or like here's like a power up to just like find out in this big open map. That's like a crazy Splatoon power up that you can get in a match, like a normal
even
match.
Like the battle royale concept of like the moving circle of like you have to get as much ink in this part of the map right now, of this big map, like your team needs to cover this part of the map right now, and then it's kind of shifting the competitive focus to regions of the map could be cool.
Totally.
Because like that's all Splatoon's mechanic is, like you gotta cover as much of the ground with ink as you can. But also like Salmon Run was such a great mode that was only like available at certain periods of the week in Splatoon 2.
I'd be totally in if they expanded that mode into something more
so like
interesting.
give me big Salmon Run mode, and also like I think like a co-op campaign, or just like a more PvE cooperative Splatoon stuff. It would be like all I would need to get more into that game. So
I'm with you. Like I definitely just think like it needs something, because like that stuff will like obviously they're gonna do like the traditional PvP like 4v4 stuff. Like they showed that in the reveal trailer. Like it'll be there, and like it makes sense for that to be there because like a lot of people like it, and it still is fun. But yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely just would think like this is coming relatively soon after, like they've been pumping these out pretty quickly compared to a lot of their other franchises if you think about it, because like Splatoon 1 was in 2015, I think.
Yeah.
Splatoon 2 was the same
2017. So
2017, and now we're 2022.
yeah, so 5 years later, and not with like a lack of support for Splatoon 2. Like
Yeah,
that they
they
did a lot of years of
yeah
support for
they
that
did
game,
stuff through, I think, up until like 2019 at least,
at
and then
least.
free
Yeah,
again. So like they'll probably do that all over again, and like had like that one major paid expansion. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm super stoked for that game. I definitely would like to. I hope they blow it out a little bit more than just like being like, yep, it's more of that game
for
just to
sure.
this time around.
Nominations, other two thoughts here. Metroid will have something for this year for its anniversary. For Won't Be
Nice.
Metroid 4.
Right.
It will either consist of the Prime trilogy or new Metroid game made by Mercury Steam, who did Samus Returns, possibly continuing that story. Prime 4 will have a trailer announced for 2022. That'd be exciting. And then he said another game from Tokyo RPG Factory will be announced on the Switch, speaking along the lines of another dormant beloved JRPG game series will be announced for Switch for an HD version, something of the lines of Suikoden or Xenogears. Not those games specifically, but something along those lines,
Right.
which is good. It's a good poll as well.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a good idea. Yeah, that's a good one.
we talked about a lot of the things I've been thinking of for me of like this Donkey Kong game. Very curious about this. Breath of the Wild, they don't really need to do much with that.
Yeah.
Like, just show me it and I'll be
Yep.
stoked.
Yeah.
You know?
Here's a name, and here's like a general release line, probably
Yeah,
next year. Cool.
yeah.
That's like, yeah.
And I'm like one of those things where like I'm okay if there's no dungeons. Still, I assume like there will be something, like a dark world maybe or something that
Yeah.
is
I think
equally
it'll
as interesting.
like some kind of underground world.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would like to see like a return of more traditional items in Zelda. Just to things that can make traversal more interesting or combat more interesting. Not that it needs it, right? Like honestly, they could just literally just plot me out in Hyrule again for another 100 hours and I'd be fine. But like these are the
Sure.
things I would want. I think items and dungeons kind of intrinsically go with items, but with the experimenting they did with like Link Between Worlds, like something like that could be really cool too, like a death system, or like even like a town that you're building up, like Terry Town, like evolve that, like hey, we're
Yeah.
rebuilding Hyrule Castle Town, and you never get to see it in Breath of the Wild 1, so like that is like you're finding materials and rebuilding the town. Like I imagine the narrative of this game is like, hey, there's no government in Hyrule because they all were murdered.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to kind of rebuild society here on a grander scale, and like being like taking Zelda to the villages around the world, and like being kind of like a liaison. Like there's a lot of cool stuff that you could do in
Mm-hmm.
that world post Ganon, and there's just so much potential. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything else. Like I really don't know. I don't know with Bayonetta 3. I don't think we're going to see Metroid Prime 4, but
Yeah.
we'll see Metroid. So yeah. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement with like, I don't think we'll see Metroid Prime 4. Or if we do, it'll be like a one more thing. It'll be like a vague CG trailer that gives like a vibe, and then like nothing really else. Then we still won't see that game for probably like another like 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
properly. So like I'd rather them just like not even mention it, which they've kind of done so far, because because we know like development's been swapped around so much. But I still think it's very possible to see this potential. There's been enough like rumor milling going on with like a with not Breath of the Wild, but like a new 2D Metroid. I'd really like that. Just like I would pretty much take it in any form it comes in. If it's like a whole new one from the ground up, if it's like a port of, or like a visual big upgrade to like Samus Returns or something, or some kind of remake like a Super Metroid remake, or like a Zero Mission remake, or just kind of taking any of those Game Boy Metroids and remaking it would be, I'd
Yeah.
be totally down for, or just making something new entirely would be super cool. I think it's just the time for that. Just like give us something, because you like clearly teased a Metroid Prime 4. They had to have realized by now. It's like they teased that so long ago, and then all these things happened, and now you just kind of have these like fans who are just kind of waiting for this thing. Like
Yeah.
they should try and give something to the general crowd to like appease, like to give them just give them something, even if it ends up being like a port or a trilogy, like a Prime trilogy collection or something like that. Just like I think it's like a good time for that. And it'll fill in kind of like I feel like they don't like we kind of still generally know like most of Nintendo's releases this year. Like I think they still have like a pretty decent lineup of like we have Mario Golf June, uh, Skyward Sword July, No More Heroes 3 August. Then there's like
September and October are the ones that we don't know.
So there's probably going to be something in there.
Yeah. And with the potential, like, the Switch Pro would launch in September as a possibility, right? Like, it makes sense that we don't know what's coming there. But that could also mean that if that is their thing and potentially Breath of the Wild isn't the headliner, then there is something else that is the headliner. So
yeah. So I think
we don't know about yet.
So I definitely think there's going to be some like one surprise game that's going to be like, oh, sick. And like 2D Metroid would totally fit that for sure. Or I'm like, I don't know, maybe even that Donkey Kong game, like could be something potentially.
So cool.
I'd be down for either of those for sure.
Any other general predictions or
general predictions?
I was thinking like as like a potential shadow drop, just because I'm like cycling in my head of like games I haven't heard about in a while that would be cool to come back up again here. Shovel Knight Dig would be perfect for that.
Yeah,
that would be great because like I played that game. We both did, I think, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a cool idea. It seemed pretty far along, and like that's not Yacht Club. That's like some other developer working with Yacht Club.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the music and graphics of that game are just so sick. So
yeah. One game I don't know if it'll be in the direct, so to speak, but I think it's imminent is Sable. Just because I know I saw like Summer Game Fest, they're doing like a thing with them, so I think that game is finally going to be out relatively soon. That would be a really cool shadow drop, and like I think that's coming to everything when it drops. I'm not sure 100% though. I don't know if it's confirmed either. I'm mostly thinking like indie stuff that's like been announced at the moment. That might be on. It's a Hyperlight Drifters on Switch. So I was thinking of like Solar. I was thinking of Solar Ash, which is also still slated for this year. And if that could be anywhere in here, I don't know if it'd be shadow dropped, but it'd be cool to like see that dated for sure. And I think just like some general updates to like a lot of what was last year, and I don't think it's necessarily to stop this year, is like updates to existing big Nintendo games. Like I'm still kind of just waiting for that big Animal Crossing, like here's like a proper like a new update to that game, because like a lot of the stuff that has come over like the last year like have been like things that were like kind of already in previous games that are just getting added to this game. And I think
even like an Animal Crossing expansion, like a named expansion to that, could be really cool.
Yes, like I just feel like they've got to been doing something along those lines, like
an Animal Crossing big city update,
like a more substantial like update to that game, especially since like even if that maybe wasn't fully in the cards at first, like I feel like they have to now because like the game like exploded into insanity. Like they have to be like realizing that it's like, oh yeah, I guess we can't just like drop this. If they put out some kind of DLC for that, it's like a bigger update, that would like be insane.
Yeah, similar vein of like Mario Kart, like it's in the top 5 best-selling Switch games of all time.
Still,
it's huge.
Yeah.
So,
and I would love some kind of like them taking this time to be like, hey, they probably maybe did have like a more proper pro lineup, considering they had like something like Breath of the Wild 2 and Splatoon 3 and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like maybe that stuff in a former world before a pandemic happened, maybe those were like kind of those big marquee games for this new Switch, but now they've kind of been spread out. But we're still gonna get the Switch, and they'll probably still be a part of that like thing of like on the Switch, this and this game will like take advantage of this like new powerful system. But I hope they would also take the opportunity, maybe since that's not happening too, then revisit these older games. Like here's Mario Kart 8 in 4K, but here's also some new stuff for it. Here's like Animal Crossing with the summer update, but also maybe it gets some better loading times, or like maybe they update some online like loading stuff and like do something like that.
Yeah. Or like a social hub too for like Animal Crossing would be really cool.
Yeah, totally.
What about the one thing we haven't talked about that we should just before we close out here is
Sure.
Smash characters.
Yeah, Smash characters. I think we're gonna see both the last two.
You're gonna see both? Okay. Yeah.
That's my feeling, just because like that's like the vibe. Because like like a lot of the like recent stuff from Sakurai is just like, yeah, I'm kind of wrapping up my column
I'm tired.
and the deal, and like we're like this is kind of like they've kind of said a while ago. This is the end of the DLC. Deal with it.
Yeah.
So like I feel like they're just gonna be like, here's your two characters. They're gonna do like they did in 2019 again, and like I like try and pick back up that 2019 momentum they had with that presentation, and just be like, here the show's gonna open with a new character. Maybe it's like a maybe it's even the same idea of like, here's like a cool Japanese focused character, here's a Western character, and their third party, or like or it might just be like, here's a Pokemon and maybe some cool out of left field character.
Sub-Zero reveals himself. God, how sick would that be if Sub-Zero just rolled up in the Smash?
Yeah, just like freezing and violently murdering. I'm into it.
I feel like you could kind of make him work just with the ice, but
and then of course the true thing we all want, Switch Pro Destiny 2 Witch Queen trailer reveal.
Yeah, finally the first view of Witch Queen right at the Nintendo Direct, just like you always wanted.
Savathun appears and she winks at the screen on the Switch screen. You're just like, oh shit!
Big horrible hive monster winking at you, like, I don't know what this means, but sure.
All the Nintendo kids are just like, what the fuck?
This seems cool.
I'm just losing my mind. It's like, sick.
Yeah. I don't know. I like, as for like actual characters, I really have no idea. Like, I thought maybe Pokemon could show up, but now I'm like not so sure.
It's hard to say, because it's like, I think I ultimately think it's like the direction of like this pass has felt reserved in some respects compared to that other one, where it feels more like it's been geared towards characters that are like have become more prominent Nintendo characters or franchises during the Switch. And like one of the few things missing from that is like a Pokemon. So I feel like these two characters could just be like continuing that trend, or they could just be like, all right, here's crazy characters because it's the end, and here you go, like they've done before, like when they did like Cloud at the end of Smash Wii U, and we got Banjo.
Yeah, it is such a huge spectrum, like of like, this is fine to I am losing my goddamn mind. Like it's just at this point I'm like gonna expect the kind of unexciting answer and hope for the exciting one.
Yeah.
So
totally. I mean,
I hope it's not Dante though. I'm sorry, Dante fans. I just
Dante
don't feel like he fits.
Dante and Doom Guy are like, if either of them show up on screen, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what would be cool though? I was thinking about this today because I was playing Destiny. It'd be cool if like Zavala was there, like like a Destiny Guardian, like
just shows up.
Just because I was just like thinking about their power, like obviously they would just use powers. They probably wouldn't use guns or anything, but like their power set would just be cool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put I'm just gonna put a bubble down in the middle of the stage.
That'd be so cool.
Come with my bubble.
Yeah, you want to rumble in this bubble?
That would be funny, and totally out there.
It absolutely will not happen, but it'd be funny. Master Chief would be like make way more sense as like a Bungie character, especially. But I just think that would be funny.
Yes, no, I'd be into that too. But I think we're like the two people that are.
Yeah, the only two people who are way like, what a waste of a spot. Yeah, I'm like, totally. This is the only character I play.
Yeah. But I think that's it. I just nothing's coming off the top of my head of anything else, because I feel like
we've covered a lot of ground.
We covered a lot, and like I think it's that thing of like I like always being. We know a lot of things, but there will definitely be surprises, and I try and always look forward to the surprises and try and keep that way instead of like over analyzing or over speculating everything.
Yeah, Nintendo's the best at keeping secrets still to this day, so we can hope that they I mean, like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity didn't leak, right? Like
that's totally.
Which was like a buck wild thing to me still. So like something like that, it could be like smaller or a spin-off or like, I keep thinking of like Cadence of Hyrule. It's like one of my favorite announcements from like a Nintendo thing of like, oh, this is
Yeah,
such a cool thing of like
it's just like a
giving
left
this
field. Yeah, yeah, maybe.
indie
Yeah,
team your property. Like
yeah,
something like that could come out of there and we wouldn't see
totally.
it coming.
Maybe here. Now I'm probably gonna hurt you by saying this, but maybe it's taking so long for Silk Song to
Silk
come
Song
out
because it's just a Metroid game. I
because yeah
literally
because
was having that
they
thought.
because they stopped working on Silk Song and are now just making a Metroid
Making a
game because
Metroid
Nintendo
game, I
games.
know. That'd be
Maybe,
great.
who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Silk Song would come out first, but I would
Yeah, you're
love
right.
just because it was a Kickstarter backer goal, so
Yeah,
they want to
yeah,
make sure they
and
do
I
that.
think, I mean, yeah, and I would totally down like if that Metroid thing ended up just being like some cool indie project, like it's just like some indie team, and
I mean,
they're
that's
just
essentially
making they're
what
just
Mercury Steam did with
sure, yeah,
Samus Returns, and that game is great, like
mm,
legitimately great. It's
mm-hmm,
not amazing, it's not perfect, but it is a very great like 2.5D Metroid game that a lot of people probably missed because it came out like a year into the Switch's life on 3DS. So
yeah.
yeah, totally.
So yeah, maybe like, we could just get a port of that, or we could get something new. Who knows? But we don't know now. But in a
We will
just
soon.
it'll be less than a week from this when this episode airs.
I'm so excited.
So excited, and we'll be there, talking
Yeah,
over it, doing
freaking
stuff.
out probably. Hopefully.
Hopefully, but that's gonna do it for us here. Thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the bets.
Thank you, Nobishin,
Yeah,
wherever you are.
yeah. Always thank him. He's the best. But yeah, that'll do it. See you next time. Thanks for taking a trip to Nintendoland. Bye.
Bye.